Welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, Scotland's #1 health, fitness and entertainment podcast. So in today's episode, we welcome our good friend, Jay Burns. We had a fantastic conversation hearing all about Jay's story from being 3 years old and having a Chinese in front of him, all the way to now looking to compete in bodybuilding. Jay has a fantastic story and a fantastic transformation in his own life, but also what he does now to inspire and coach other people who have then also had amazing transformations. We also had a really good debate about transformations, before and after pictures, and bodybuilding splits. So if you listened to our episode before, you know mine and James's stance, and it was great to hear Jay challenge some of that perspectives and give good insight as to why he trains in that particular way. Now, as much as Jay trains a wide variety of clients, he is taking on some online clients that are looking to either compete in bodybuilding or is looking to train like a bodybuilder. So if you're interested in that, we're going to leave a link below where you can find that out. And if you're interested, make sure you reach out to Jay. And before we get into today's episode, if this is the first time you're finding us, or if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube, leave a comment below and like the video. And if you've got an iPhone, which most of you do, head over to Apple Podcasts, leaves us a 5-star review. It helps us with our ego, but it also helps us get more exposure. And if you listen to it on Spotify, you know what to do. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review as well. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Welcome.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
So
You lost weight because you're skinny.
I'm trying to lose weight.
Aye.
You're
So
in fucking good shape,
More than
man.
2 weeks.
For everybody watching, Jay is a big boy in person. Like you might not be able to, I don't know how he looks on camera, but Jay is a big boy. So
But this is a good thing to start with. So I think a good point to start with is actually going way back, man, because you've not always been. Well, you've been a big boy, but I guess a big boy in a different sense. Isn't
Aye.
Bigger boy. Oh,
So,
aye.
so you've always been interested in lifting weights. I remember.
Dale Donaldson, obviously our mutual friend, we started training about 15, 16. We started going to Wishes Sports Centre gym. Both of us were kind of. In fact, was he heavy back then? I was definitely heavy. At my heaviest, I think, without any muscle mass, I was 24 stone 8. I think was my heaviest weight.
What was it?
Aye, been no muscle. So
jeez,
you imagine now I'm about 17 stone, maybe like high 16s with
Aye.
muscle mass. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Was a big boy, aye, for sure.
And then that's where you fell in love with it.
Catalyst, mate. Yeah, basically.
So were you like getting to like a bigger state? Like was it a combination of? Have you pieced that together, like where that all came from, or is it just
But
something?
why I was heavy.
Aye, like because like if you look at our friend circles and that, it wasn't as if there was like, well, I guess there was constant drinking and all that sort
Aye.
of stuff. Do you think that had its part to play?
Well, mate, there's a photo of me. I think I'm three years old, sitting in front of the television watching Dragon Ball Z with a Chinese. Like at 3. So I would
Right.
say it stemmed partially from there.
Fucking hell, man.
But just poor, terrible eating habits that just kind of spiraled. It was over. There was definitely an obsession with food.
Yeah.
Definitely was. Still a wee bit there. You can only
It
mask.
never goes, mate.
You can only mask it slightly, can't you?
Aye.
I think as the older we get, we start like even at the age of 29. Somebody will say something recently, and I'm like, "Fuck, that was me when I was 9 years old. What the hell?"
Like when I go on holiday in 2 weeks, obviously I told you I'm going to Tenerife. Like that guy comes back with a vengeance. It's like, oh, I'm free.
I
We're no
can do
longer
what I want.
we're no longer into my fitness pal today. He definitely comes back out. But it took a long time to sort of change the habits. But was severely unhappy. Like I think I've told you that story before. Like
Yeah.
I was that unconfident that I couldn't even look people in the eye when I was speaking to them.
What age was this?
As long as I can remember, mate.
Is it?
I've been heavy. I was a heavy boy through childhood into early adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was about 21, 22. I just started just before I met Sarah. Obviously, that's been, nearly 7 years with Sarah now. I better get that right if that's on camera. Aye, so the 7 years.
8 years.
We won't ask you any dates. Don't worry, no dates.
I should say the range there and give myself.
Aye.
But that's kind of when I started. But I'd always been into training. Just the nutrition was sort of the last piece for me to fall. I would say.
Did you fall into, because you were always, from what I remember and what Dale and Darren and that will tell me, so our mutual friends, like they always say that you were strong and you were always pretty strong. So did you gravitate towards that first? Was that like, holy shit, they can't move anywhere near the same weight as me?
It wasn't really like that. I was strong in terms. I wasn't like strength training strong though. It was like I was strong for them, but when I went into the gym the first time, I couldn't bench 50. So I didn't have natural
You
like
were
lifting
learning
strength.
curve.
Do you know what I mean? Aye, for sure. I remember. do you remember Jigger for Gym 24?
Aye.
So I went in, the first gym I ever trained in was YMCA in Wishaw. Do you remember that? Do you
I
remember
remember-
that?
I
I'm
remember-
from Bill
I also
Ah,
remember
right.
Jigger being in there, and he was the most mental cunt you could ever
Mate.
bump into.
I seen him, it was like my second or third day ever training. He was benching 100 kilograms, and I looked at him like it was an alien. 'Cause I tried to bench 50 and couldn't. I was looking at him like,
This is before
What
fight
is it?
started.
Who is this guy?
how are you doing that? Like, I was
Aye.
totally like
Bamboozled.
mesmerised. Like, how does somebody do that? That is wild for
Aye.
reps. But it wasn't natural. It was definitely built. Pressing strength kind of came fast after that, but back and leg strength was built for the trenches, man. That wasn't there.
Do you think that's because we guys, us
Aye.
as we guys, is like, right, let's bench a day, bench.
Everything's
fuck
anterior.
that.
Fuck that.
It's chest and biceps 4 days a week.
So
Aaron likes to have
the
something
strength-
like that.
Aye, so that's where I guess naturally, like, strength came from. So was it a matter of, let's see how many times we can get 10 reps and that just became a thing, or was it just
Probably one
fuck
rep, mate.
Was
was
it?
probably
Was it?
like, let's see if I'm stronger this week, guy.
That's how it always went. though.
100%. 100%.
When did you start gaining your knowledge? Then where did you start gaining it to start with? Or were you just
Probably-
going right off the cuff?
Probably doing everything wrong. I'm sure he's had
Aye,
similar
aye,
experiences.
absolutely.
But after the weight loss, I kind of went a wee bit psycho. Where like I went too far. I think I've showed you the photos. In fact, I think I've showed both of you this photo.
Severe obsession.
I'm sitting with a dog on my dad's floor, and it was after I lost 100. I think it was just over 100 pounds I'd lost. Every bit of muscle tissue was took off my body, and I don't have the biggest legs in the world anyway, right? But like you could see like the bones in my knee.
The dog's leg was bigger.
100%, 100%.
I don't think I've ever seen this photo.
No, I remember you showing us it.
It was. I just went so far doing. I need to cut. I need to get lean. I need to get lean.
So a lot of people go through that. Though, do you know what I mean?
I can't
They're just
be
choking to lose
the
the
fat
weight.
guy. I went far too far, and then basically had to build up my strength back up for there.
Aye.
So see, going through this process, like when did you get to a point where you're working out in the gym and you went, no, I actually need to lose weight now. Like I need to actually get rid of some of this body fat. Was there ever like a clear switch? Because everybody always taught any of my clients that I speak to, and I was never like crazy like overweight, but I got definitely heavier at one stage, and there's always a vivid memory and a vivid moment where you're like, nah, I need to change. Well, do you remember what that was for
There's
you?
plenty. How deep you want to go with this story? 'Cause
Deep.
Let's get deep,
Mate,
man.
right
Let's get
in.
fucking raw.
There
I want
is,
to see tears
Guy,
coming
yeah,
out.
yeah.
We'll hug you at the end of it, but we want to see tears.
So, I've actually heard you talking about like psychedelic experiences and stuff like that in the past, right? So we're in
Is that where to go?
We're in. Well, listen, there's been a fundamental issue of being unhappy with my body and having my confidence is still attached to it. Although that's wrong, it's subconscious. So my confidence was terrible. I couldn't look people in the eye. Just wasn't happy on my own skin. Basically, I was always aware of that, but I didn't know it was as deep as it was. So there was like one December, me and my friend decided to try magic mushrooms, right? And I remember we took them, a couple of hours passed, and then it started kicking in. I remember just getting into his bathroom in shorts, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror thinking, like, you don't believe, like, this is deep as fuck, but it's organic, it's true. I looked at myself, I'm like, you don't actually believe that you're worthy of losing the weight, because you understand what a calorie deficit is, you understand maintenance, you understand surplus, so you understand the principles, how to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was in that world, I was training regularly, I was quite experienced at that point, but it was the fundamental belief that I didn't think I deserved to lose the weight. And I can remember, it was as if, like, have you took magic mushrooms before?
Aye.
Took them last weekend.
Took
So
them
you-
many times, man.
Do you understand what I mean? You feel like disconnected from all your biases.
Aye,
Do you know
you
what I
get you're no. Aye, I know what you mean.
Aye, it's like everything I've experienced as Jay Burns in my full life, right? It was as if it was as if I was separate for that.
You were
Like an
watching-
outer body
And I'm like-
experience.
you're probably
you're
watching
looking at
yourself and
looking
going,
at
what's
it.
happening here?
So if you were doing something wrong, I could look at you totally objectively and go, that's your issue.
Here's the advice.
Aye. But when it's your own internal bullshit, it's hard to see past that.
So many
Always.
barriers.
Do you know what I
Because
mean?
you're always making
It's-
excuses for yourself, and you're always going to make excuses for
100%.
yourself.
So that was like the coin drop bum, and then from that was like close to Christmas, maybe 20th of December or so, and then for that January is when it started, and it just didn't stop for there.
Aye.
So here, drugs aren't bad for you. Drugs can
Listen,
be the.
That was just
get
that.
weight.
Do you know what that was? That was watching Joe Rogan Experience far too much. Listen, and I'm thinking to myself, a mushroom makes you no chance. But
Mate.
then it kept.
I'm genuinely fascinated.
It
So
is,
I
mate,
don't know if you've heard
honestly.
the episode where we talk about his experience with it, and I know it can go one or two ways. Like you can have a bad reaction where it then just goes, I'm not want to be a PT anymore. I don't want to run my own business. Fuck it, I'm packing up and going. But me and Gilliam's talked about it, that it's actually something we'd like to share the experience together, but no overdose of that, but take like experience what that feeling can be like.
But you're saying you're worried, like.
No worry. I think it's from a story that you tell when you said that. What's the guy's name?
Conor Murphy.
Is that who it was? Like,
is that do you know Conor Murphy, the big fitness guy?
He used to be like one of the biggest fitness.
He used to be like a fitness model, and he used to do the YouTube stuff. He used to take his top off, but he got right big into psychedelics, and he lost the plot.
Really?
Lost it, mate, and he's still lost it to this day. He's never regained it.
Do you know what I would argue though? I would argue that you don't have anything to worry about unless you have a fundamental core belief, like you should be doing that, and aren't. See if you're suppressing it. That's the only time you'd have to worry about that coming out.
The whole mindset.
That's obviously
do you know what I mean? Maybe
I
thought to yourself, I'm doing this for the wrong reasons. Like, for a place of vanity, and I don't want to be that guy, and that's why he stopped. I don't know, but you've nothing to worry about with that.
I think with social media, though, he's probably built up a character and a persona.
That is his character.
Who he is, and then he's realised that's not who he wants to be.
And that's not what makes him actually genuinely happy.
So I don't know if that was psychedelics, but anyway, that's quite fascinating.
What you'll find is with magic mushrooms, at the end of the trip, no matter if it's a bad trip or a good trip, and you realise something like that, you always feel good at the end. I can't mind what it does, but so say if you went through something and you're like, that was nice, you always feel good, and you wake up the next day going, you'll remember whatever you're thinking about. And if you've not took too much and you've been thinking good things, it does actually, it continues. You don't wake up the next day and go, I can't remember that. You wake up the next day and go, I fucking remember everything about that.
100%.
Which could be a problem, or it could be something really good.
Yeah.
And usually a lot of the time, if you're in a good mindset, it's got to take you, I would say it's got to take you to a good place.
If you've got darkness there, you're you know what I mean? Even if you're drinking, you've got darkness there. It's, do you know what I mean? You put something else into the equation, it's going to show.
So you're doing this, and then this was like one of the pivotal moments. Then, and so you had the knowledge and experience. It was just more of applying it and kind of.
Obviously, a lot more now. Having data for actually not just coaching my own body, like coaching multiple different types of people. But I'd been in the game, 21 then, so 6 years of like training 5-6 days a week, loving training. Just obviously that fundamental core belief, it was bullshit. But I didn't know that was the issue.
So you go, so then you're on this path, and then you go, was there ever a point where you recognise, fuck, I've done really well here, when you had like a weight number or anything like that?
That was
nice big round number.
That's it. It must be, but it is like that was the only time I'd say I've been totally happy with my physique. And looking back now, I'm like,
what the fuck am I looking at?
It's
crazy.
Would you say you were happier back then than you're now?
100%.
Would you?
Because it's the only time I've ever looked at myself and thought, wow, man, you've done amazing. It's the only time that.
So we'll get into this, because this is really good talk. But at that point, so you got your £100, and then so did you keep going? Then is that when it kind of led down?
I think I got a wee bit higher, like maybe 103, 104 total loss, and then I kind of started seeing the photo, like the one with the dog I'm talking about.
You realise you're like, I'm losing muscle in here now.
I looked fragile, and then the more I started seeing photos, I'm like, you're a wee bit fragile looking there. And then I think I put a bit of weight back on. You know that cycle. Like it's never like there and then that's there. So I put a wee bit back on, and then just started focusing on building muscle, basically.
Good. So then, where did the whole I'm going to be a PT? Because you were working in, was it NHS? Am I right in saying?
Before I opened Transformation Central, I was a clinical support worker with the NHS. But before
you were
that,
going to say like a bouncer for the NHS or something like that.
You basically are. That's basically what it is. It was in mental health I worked in. So
how long was that for?
4 years. It was good. It's a good job. It just wasn't my passion. So I asked when it started. So I started doing my PT qualification, I think, when I was 23. I didn't have any other loves. Like even when I was heavier, I loved training. I've not got really much other loves. That is my thing, and it will be to the day I die. It just will be.
Absolutely.
And once you know that, like, so were you torn? Because our parents are just, I feel like society in general is like, get a good job, get a job set for life, good pension, all this sort of stuff. Like, I don't know if you come from a family with like self-employment or business.
My dad is, but I was kind of raised
though, isn't it?
Totally different. Totally different.
Were you torn, like try to going, can I make a career out of this, or did it just feel natural?
I knew due to how much I loved it, I could be successful at it. 100%. The business side of it, though, obviously, you going self-employed, it's scary when you first do it. Do you know what I mean? Like it is like, see when you step away from the safety net,
Normal
employment.
life.
Aye, this is what I make every month. Do you know what I mean? It's scary, but I kind of knew I would always be good at my job because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
What was that
Love
experience like handing in your notice and going, right, fuck it? I know like something else happened, but
Oh, aye,
was
big
it
time.
was that exciting then at that point? You're like, fuck man,
It
I'm
was
gonna
like
do it.
a massive mix of anxiety and excitement. Aye, at the time. Obviously, opening a gym at the same time was going totally self-employed, so it was starting a PT business, self-employed, opening that gym. It was
Very risky.
massive
very,
anxiety
very risky.
time. Aye, turned out to be with absolutely the wrong person.
Aye,
to
so
do it.
I don't know how much you'll share this, but don't feel like you need to go deep into this. But share what you want. But so you're working in a job and you've PT'd like friends and that sort of stuff. Is that was sort of happening?
Clients as well. I had
Yeah,
people that just came to me that just wanted help. So I had the experience where I was about 23 doing it.
Aye, good. And that kind of gave you an encouragement. It's like, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like you think you're the dream at it. Like you probably would have had this, but when you think about doing this forever, somebody goes, you want to run your own gym? You're like, absolutely.
Aye.
Like that sounds like the absolute dream.
Golden ticket.
Until you realise the operations of fucking
I know,
chaos.
I look at everybody now and go, I actually think this is the worst thing ever.
Honestly, in hindsight is beautiful. isn't it?
Oh, beautiful.
Hindsight is beautiful, but you need to remember, like, we've got like recency bias on this as well, right? The industry has boomed massively.
Oh, aye.
So when
So
we were
many
opening,
gyms.
when we were opening in Wishaw, there was SGF, Protein Jakes, which isn't really like Protein Jakes has got to say me thing going hunt it.
That's not when they say that's a gym, even though it's a gym.
That's
it's
what
like,
I mean. That's
like
what I mean.
like a larger boot camp class.
100%.
Yeah.
They've got their own me thing, so that wasn't even sort of in question. And then you had NL, which had been there forever.
Pure Gym Motherwell was probably
Aye,
the next
that's
one.
what I mean. And then obviously we opened Manny, the Gym 24 was opening as well. We heard of the gym in Motherwell opening, then New Age, then Aesthetics, and then New Age opening, and you're just like,
We're fucked.
what the fuck?
Aye, that's
fuck
got
is
to be
happening
hard.
here? Aye, but there was multiple complications with, well, you know, I've told you about it before, but it was just with the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? It was amazing at the time. The idea, like the experience, the experience is amazing.
You'll never trade that because that builds who you are today, isn't it?
100%. Like the thought process and the actual thought of doing it is amazing. The actual mechanisms of doing it took away from what my love was, and that is training people. Do you know what I mean? We built a community there for sure, but I felt like the business stress, try to combine that with my own business in the same plate. It was
Probably
too
one
much.
of the same person for a wee while.
Nah, it was too much. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like the quality of my PTing wasn't where it could be, and then I stepped back basically for sort of helping run TC, and everything just got better.
Yeah.
The quality of my training went up, the quality of my clients, like results and their training and how they felt went up. I took more clients on, and then I realised, like, right, this is what I'm meant to do. You know what I mean? You don't need to have a physical location to do it. This would be ideal. PT studio, that's quality. That is amazing. But I didn't need the gym.
No.
You know what I mean? It was more like ego, like, I've helped build this, do I step back? Do you know what I mean? It was more that sort of.
Did you think
process.
people go, oh, you failed, and was that a part of it?
Well, I stepped back for months and months and months, like maybe 7 months. Like I'd stepped back before the gym actually. Like well, I don't know if probably longer than that actually, longer than 7 months. And I was just totally PTing. I took nothing to do with running it. We had obviously an agreement to like buy me out, basically, essentially what I'd put in, and it was just so much happier time since then.
Did you lose a lot of money in this?
Nah, not really. Nah.
Kind of work out itself.
But just a lot of time.
Time, effort,
and
and like soreness, man. Because do you know what I mean? Like you do put your all into that.
It's your baby, isn't it?
Aye, 100%.
I actually remember speaking to you when all this was happening. You shared like a wee teaser of the gym being set up and that, and I could even tell the excitement in text. Like how excited you are because you're like, we're going to get this kit, and obviously having a passion and love for training and even like bodybuilding style of training and all that sort of stuff. So it's great when you kind of see that dream, but it must have been quite hard to go through and seeing it not kind of come to fruition.
By the time, obviously, I came to Gym 24 with you guys, that I'd dealt with that. That one was scabbed over, for sure. But I moved to Gym 24. Again, it was just seamless. It was just like
it was natural, wasn't it?
It was totally seamless. I like just fitted in with yous right away. It's just so relaxing, that gym, isn't it? Like for clients, it is absolutely perfect.
So I think going through that experience as well, probably one thing I want to call it to you is you said built a good strong community in that, and I think a lot of people think, oh, that was Transformation Central, but see, seeing you, Sarah, like Sir Jodie and that, it wasn't. It's not a gym that gets the. It's not the gym. It's not the location. It's actually the people that run it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, everybody ended up coming over, but the people who were good people to train and really
100%.
going on long term health and fitness, I think that was a testament to all your guys and how you done. So regardless of like, I don't think you do see it or that as I feel with that. It's definitely that's a big win because
sure.
I think like if you get to the decision of going, I don't actually want to open my gym, doesn't matter how much money that costs you, that you'll never put a price on that decision because that carries with you for the rest of life.
Absolutely.
So Gym 24 then, so you've been there for, was that?
Be a year.
Close to a year.
Aye, July I think it was, wasn't
Fuck
it?
me, man.
Aye, July last year. So a year coming up. Aye, amazing. Aye, it's just it's so perfect for clients. Like the community I was telling you we built and the vibe we built, that private feel. I can't do corporate gyms. For clients, I don't know. How are you getting on at JD with that?
Love it, mate.
Aye.
And my clients surprisingly love it as well.
Maybe you're just giving them the vibe. Do you know what I mean? Rather than
aye.
I don't like the corporate gym vibe. Like when I walk into a pure gym, don't mean to shit in pure gym, but
Oh no, shite on pure gym.
It
I
just-
shite on pure gym all the time.
it just see when you used to type in your wee code, boom boom boom, the wee thing would like, open up in front of you. By the time I got to the other side of that, my energy was gone.
Go on, aye.
Like I'm like the vibe in here is horrendous.
Obviously-
Nobody's talking. Nobody's aye.
And I think this all goes back to like who is the people you're hiring in that place, and this is where Manny and Tony and that sort of thing, they've got good people that can kind of carry the like every gym's going to have an environment like it's doesn't matter where you open or what you do. There's natural people, like people make the environment, but also people can set the tone of that. So
Absolutely.
getting the right side of PTs, and I think maybe that's the problem with that pure gym because I've been to pure gyms and the vibe's been brilliant, and that was like I talk about in Nottingham, don't I? And I knew all the PTs firsthand, and we still message each other to this day because
Really?
I'm like that was actually such a cool
Where you
gym.
is that where you done your prep for your show?
That's where I was down there. That inspired me to do that.
Ah,
So
nice.
there's I think it all depends on location, which is mad. But in a low cost gym like that can just attract everybody, you can get some really nice people and great people that's on the journey, and then you can get just dickheads, and unfortunately it's the couple of dickheads that can ruin
Aye.
the experience for everyone.
For sure. In Gym 24 when we come over, I think you were like the big brother to the PTs in there when I first came. Like it was like that though. Like obviously for TC I was probably I was the most experienced, obviously.
Yeah.
And then when I came to Gym 24, I'm like, it's so funny. Like there was a similar vibe in terms of energy, community. When I came to Gym 24, it was just in a like I say, a different location. The
Sense,
location doesn't matter; it's the people. But you were definitely like a big brother at Gym 24.
I think I was
When I
fortunate
came
enough
in.
to go into the corporate world. So we've kind of said that to James before. I used to hate myself that I didn't get into PT sooner, but actually made me a better PT in the end, because just understanding like general politics of life
Absolutely.
that you can then navigate
You've
through.
got to communicate with anyone.
Aye.
That's it.
So flip this then into training styles and that sort of thing. So it wasn't always bodybuilding, or was it always bodybuilding you liked? I don't like telling you that, but I know that's your love. That's your kind of, you like that style as much as you can train a wide range of clients. Like
Yeah, aye, definitely. Like I pride myself on being able to train somebody on how they want, like what result they want. Basically, like I'm no like, I know kind of I heard you saying before your style of client, like ideally as sort of
homing in on your niche. Aye.
aye. So I like, as well on your Instagram, both your Instagram algorithms, it will be like find who your niche is and speak to them. I'm sorry, man, I'm never going to do that. Like I can train anybody, whether you're an athlete trying to get better at your craft, whether you're elderly, it doesn't matter to me. I see it as my job to be able to train people.
Yeah.
Regardless of age. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But aye.
So-
Anybody.
So you were training? Were you always training bodybuilding then? Was that, or like who was like the first people you looked up to in the industry?
Wasn't it? Do you know, I'm only getting mad into bodybuilding recently.
Was it
Like
was
in
it-
terms of like watching the shows and following athletes and that. Just that style of training is kind of where I fell in love with it for sure. But I didn't call it bodybuilding training because I didn't view myself like that. Do you know what I mean? But that style of training, definitely isolation training is, king
it.
for me.
Aye.
King for me, definitely.
Was it, so we always talk about like who inspired us in the fitness industry early days. So for me, like Simeon Panda. What was the guy for you?
He's still saying
You,
he's
you bought his
natural.
program. Aye, he does. He
Oh, Joseph Rakic.
Joseph
mate.
Rakic. So all these guys.
I've heard you talk about
did-
him loads of
Aye,
times.
man.
Guys.
I look at him now and go, what the fuck was I thinking, man?
What's
Was-
him and Panda physique wise?
Well, no, just in general, I was
Aye.
like, fuck man, this guy's
He's
saying
one of
this.
the biggest guys on social
fa-
media
far
back then,
back-
wasn't he?
Aye,
He
for
was
sure.
right there.
Who's the other one? Like, he had a fucking amazing 8-pack, no Lazar. It was Simeon Panda's pal, like, another coloured guy, long dreadlocks. Mr. Worldwide or something like that's Pitbull, but it was like
Pitbull's got a great physique, guys.
It was-
Brilliant.
Fucking Jack, man.
it was something like that. But again, these were the guys, and this is where I started to piece together. I was like, man, that's cool, and started to do all these things. So was there MD for you? Is there MD that you, or even where you're at now? Like, who's like some of the people?
Always, even like, you ever watch WWE? Like, even like the jacked guys in WWE, always like gravitated towards that.
How
So
the
fucking
fuck did they
cool.
look like
That is so fucking cool.
Aye.
But it was like, I couldn't even imagine looking like that back then. But definitely, I always admired like The Rock. Is probably my favourite.
Aye.
He's my favourite wrestler. Definitely, I still love him, man. I think he's amazing.
Still
just,
like him?
just,
Adore
I
him.
just, I always admired somebody that could fucking graft, right? Like, just train like fuck and get this and have the discipline to be in good shape. Even when I was like in the worst shape of my life, I still valued that. So probably The Rock, I would say.
Aye,
I've never actually assessed that thought process.
Remember we were talking when Dorian Yates came over to Paisley. I'm surprised you still never went to that.
I don't
So
actually know why. There must have been a reason.
Aye.
Was that was it Muscle Works? It's called no
Aye, Muscle Lab.
Muscle
Muscle
Lab. That's the one. Aye.
That gym gave me
Was
gym
it in
anxiety.
Glasgow?
It's in Paisley.
That's where my pal goes.
It's green
Aye.
inside. Aye.
exactly
Just
where he goes.
testosterone.
Honestly,
everywhere.
walked in and I was like,
dodgy gym,
I
mate.
feel like I've just took a vial of training mass and just walking through
Aye,
the
dodgy gym, man.
It was crazy. But he done a seminar there and obviously his style of training, I think a lot
That
relates
is-
with you, like
Aye.
the like
High intensity.
smart at
High-
the same
high-
time,
high
but like
intensity
proper
over.
like
4 days a week.
muscle mass
High
type things.
intensity. 45 minutes of just war.
Aye.
The weights. That was his style.
So where you're at now then? No interest for competing? Is it?
Weird.
Does it?
It's weird you asked me that. I've literally just decided in the last couple of weeks. Basically, I'll tell you the thought process. Basically, I want to move into. I'll always train general population, right? Because I love it. See, taking somebody that's really unhappy with their body, where I was, and just taking them and giving them a love for
For the
training.
gym.
You see their mental health improve. They start taking care of themselves in other ways, not just in the gym. That is gold dust. You can't buy that feeling.
Aye.
You
Nah,
know
that's
that.
great.
You know that. You just that is. I'll do that as long as I live. But I've always spoke to you about the online side of training, how I can't figure out integrity is everything to me.
Aye,
Right?
it's
Like
hard.
it's everything to me, and I feel like if I program something, I need to know that it can be executed.
I'm the
'Cause-
exact same. I
and I
know
can't
exactly how, I know I struggle how people can go online and feel happy with what they're giving their clients and they're only online. You
Money.
know what I mean? If somebody's in
That's
England
why.
and they're like that to me, I'm going to come to you online. I'm like, but I need to see
Aye.
it at least.
So I've tried to navigate that. I'm like, how do I do it? Do I get video demonstrations? Is that enough? Can I? Do you know what it's like? See if you're teaching somebody, say you're doing a single arm lat row, right? You can tell them how it should be feeling, make tiny wee adjustments, and then do you know what I mean? Then they feel it. To communicate that on, like, that's really important to me. If somebody's like saying they're coached by me, to communicate that online, it's almost impossible unless somebody has like a basic understanding of training.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out, right, so the only way I can scale my business now is online, because I'm fully booked 1-to-1. My waiting list is massive. I'm blessed for that to be the case. The only way I can scale up is online.
Growing a separate branch.
So basically I'm thinking, if I can sort of initiate myself into the bodybuilding world, they only need online, right? And that is my passion, because I feel like I've got so much knowledge of training after all these years of training like an asshole, learning everything right, doing all these different courses. I told you
Aye,
about
I've
this,
seen
didn't
that
I?
in
The
your
John
story.
Jewett
I love
course.
that. And it's
Unbelievable.
great, isn't it?
Have you done that?
I've not done it, but his stuff,
Mate,
his stuff, I
honestly-
really like his stuff.
Honestly, see the detail and depth he goes to. It is. Sarah's like, you're a fanboy.
I was going to say,
I'm
like,
I'm-
see the average person, like, you're fucking weird. And you're like, no, but you don't understand how deep,
Mate,
how
it's ju-
level that you're going
See,
into.
he has a, so he competes in 212 bodybuilding, right?
Aye.
This guy, John Jewett, his name is, he's Olympia level competitor. He coaches Olympia level competitors. He's got, I think it's like a medical degree. He's
Just
like,
a unit when
he's
it comes
bridging every single gap and bringing like science to experience. Do you know what I mean? It's just amazing. Honestly, the course is incredible. I've totally went off on a tangent. I've totally lost where was it?
So,
Where was it there?
so the reason for building online then?
Aye. So I feel like
stuff.
I've got knowledge of training that's basically useless for Gen Pop, right? Until they get to like a very high level. I want to coach bodybuilders. So to do that, I feel like I need to compete, because I wouldn't hire a coach that hadn't at least walked the walk a couple of times or once.
So it was just when I had Christian on, that was the main driver for. He's like, I need to do the hardest triathlon because I need to be seen to be doing this as well, because then people are going to look at me. Yep. You're going to be one of these guys, which we know we all get frustrated with, when somebody will say something about, oh, you just need a calorie deficit. It's like, you don't understand half the stuff about coaching people.
No.
So like, to walk the walk and go through the training and go through multiple and kind of experience it for yourself. You're always going to, you pay for experience, you don't pay for knowledge as much as you pay for training courses.
That's fact. Like, I say this all the time. My gran could become a level 3 PT in 2 weeks.
Anybody,
like
anybody could, mate.
Like that's nothing. Like that, putting L3 qualified like gym instructor,
But the general population, they look at personal trainer. They must know what they're doing. I'm like, absolutely doesn't mean that. How much just paid $2,000.
Aye, they'll just send a message like, level 3 PT, right? How much are you, James? Oh, you're 25 an hour, right? Oh, you're 40, right? I'll go with 25. It's like, come on. But there's a reason. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason that.
It's why the message needs to change a wee bit.
Aye.
But I think that's where you just naturally start leveling up. So it's interesting hearing you two talk about like going online. So I've just pivoted my business that way a wee bit, and there's definitely a difference with online training and in person, there's no doubt about it. And I've made videos in the past saying how online trainers are shitty and personal trainers, you can never beat them. But now I'm at this stage now and I'm like, right, I'm actually seeing a different side of this because I'm going through that experience for myself. And firsthand, the way I see it is, it's two different experiences, two different coaching styles.
Yeah.
Because I'm not training somebody online if they can't connect to their lats while they're doing that. So like you said, you need that connection, that drive. That's one-to-one personal training. Online coaching, like you said, attracts a demographic of bodybuilders or of someone who's been in shape and just wants to do that. So I've pivoted a wee bit, and now I'm grateful that I've got clients that I can go, look, I'm going to actually try you online to see how you do. And to me, that's where I can make a bigger impact in their lives, because if I'm with them 3 times a week or 2 times a week just now, when you go on holiday, they start freaking out, and you're like, and I need to actually show them a different side of this, so I need to expose them to that fear, because then they realise it's not as actually daunting as what it may seem. But it has to happen, I think. For any business to survive, you need that multiple parts.
The sort of vertical, like a business model has to go vertical, right? Like you have to improve it, and that's kind of once you're full with a waiting list, like,
you need to go.
You can't, like, where else can you go?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere else to go. So that's my thought process. So
you got an eye on a show?
I'm going to need to.
Which one have you even got
It'll
down to that?
Probably be a first timers. Probably be a first timers.
Time frame next year, this year?
Depends how long it's going to take.
Aye.
So
you got to do like a pre-prep as if you're competing in a show, or you just going to go straight for it?
Body parts, mate. I'll be able to judge it. I'll be able to judge it. Taking weekly check-ins and now. Lats definitely need to come up. Quads, 100%.
Who's your coach? You?
Me.
You know.
You got 100%. I'll get a coach. It's just the ones I'm very, very picky. Like everything you say as a coach needs to resonate with me, or I won't like. So there's about 3.
Just takes one bad comment.
100%.
Don't agree with you anymore. Fuck you.
Listen, there is like basically there's a guy called Callum Raystruck, I think you pronounce his name. He's incredible. I don't know if you've ever seen his clients. Basically, he just peaks everybody perfectly. He only got his big break like last year. He coaches Mark Hector.
Right.
You know who that is? He's an English bodybuilder. I would definitely think about hiring him, but he's always full. But I want like a year and a half of off season. Bring up my lagging body parts big time.
So it won't be so it might be in the next year, or
it depends on. Years. I won't go on stage unless I'm like they are up. I'm not going to embarrass myself. No, going on stage in wee pants and smiling and posing. If I'm not, I don't even want to do that. See, the actual thought of doing that, it makes me cringe. Even though like a pure value bodybuilders, like I'm a fan of bodybuilding, but the thought of me standing on a stage smiling and hitting like it actually gives me anxiety. Like I don't want to do that.
But you do it in your room.
I know.
It's like genuinely you do.
But that's for assess my progress though. And that's how bodybuilders view it as well. Like, not a lot of bodybuilders actually enjoy the stage.
Right.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that,
right? It's just fake tan and the pants. It's just for me personally. I just can't ever see myself doing that.
It's part of the process.
I'm going to need to. They view it like this is the culmination of my love for training, the nutrition. Do you know what I mean? It's like a culmination for them. Like it just ends in the stage. But
right, I'm gonna. Would you view that as health?
But the state they're in on stage, no,
Aye.
of course no. No, of course no.
No,
It's very unhealthy, isn't it? Like
absolutely.
to be
It's
that
like any
lean.
sport. We spoke about it.
Aye,
Spoke about
it's
this before. I think.
aimed at any top of sport. It's
It's-
unhealthy as anything.
Aye, it's definitely not healthy like to compete in bodybuilding. Of course it isn't. Of
No.
course it's no, but it's like it's a passion game, isn't it? It's a love game.
Mhm.
Like they do it because they're like, I want to be paid to train because that's the only thing I love, which is the exact same as me. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got the exact use as well. It's obviously not going to end in bodybuilding for you, as like it did for you at one point, but we just fucking love training. And then that has stemmed to now we do it for clients, and now we teach our clients our experiences, but it all stems from we fucking love training.
It comes with a place of love. So you said something earlier then that you were happier when you lost 100 pounds, and so how's your relationship with the way you see yourself? And because you obviously I actually am a wee bit mindful because I could see it in Gym 24 when people's like, oh, big man's here, blah 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 blah. How is it getting that all the time? Does that annoy you, or does it?
No.
And so I guess on to how do you view yourself? Do you see yourself being big? Do you see yourself like are you not happy with your physique? Like
It's not that I'm confident now. Like I know I'm much better than what I was, obviously, but I think it's just you always want to be better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm chasing. Like the progress photos I put up yesterday, I'm not looking at them thinking I'm buzzing with that, but I'm looking at them thinking I've improved, and that's kind of all I want. But you're never going to really be totally happy. You're never going to stand in front of like naked in a mirror and think perfect. Are you?
do you think, James actually does.
For real, like I think that sometimes with obsession can get, like you're thinking like that, and I know many people think that, but I think there is many people out there who are fucking look at us and go, I'm fucking banging.
No,
You know what I
good.
mean? But you can
No, but I
always
mean, you're
be-
never going to look and think I'm perfect. Do you know what I mean?
But
So if,
I don't know, because I don't do bodybuilding for that reason, and I went away for it,
Aye.
so that I don't look at myself.
I know, I get that.
I don't even think about it.
If it's
like that.
unhealthy for you,
Aye,
don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like to assess your physique like that.
aye.
But that's what the fun bit is for me.
Aye, do you enjoy
I'd
that?
never been. I know that sounds.
Never been happy.
No, it's not never been hard. I don't look at myself and think, fucking. I'm not thinking that.
No,
I'm just looking at myself thinking that could come up. So that's how I need to style my training now to focus on that. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
It's more fun for me.
That's your drive.
It's like an architect. Not calling myself an architect, but that's
you're
what
sculpting your
bodybuilding is.
body. You're
Like,
sculpting your
No,
body.
It's fun.
That's exactly what
it's
it
good
is.
fun. Like your style of training is you're trying to be stronger, the strongest James ever,
Aye.
right? And that's part of the fun for me in my training
No,
as well,
I get
but
you.
just in a higher rep range, basically.
Aye.
Do you see any like insecurities coming out just now? Because I found a lot insecurities came out for me when I was bodybuilding, and I thought going into bodybuilding I was like, right, that'll fix that. But I noticed going into it, it actually made it worse for me. Do you notice any of that? Do you have to catch yourself sometimes? Like you said, it's great that you're not looking at yourself in that, but when because you need to critique your look 6 months ago, because it's all fixated and very subjective on a judge looking at you and wanting it's all about symmetry into that. So
Absolutely.
there has to be an element of being to be judgmental on previous physique pictures and that. But do you see that causing any insecurities in yourself going from where you were before?
No, like I've kind of dealt with all that stuff now.
Think
Like
so, yeah.
obviously there's going to be like scars for the past. Like living like high school's tough for everybody.
Aye.
Whether you're in shape in the popular kit, it's tough for everybody. But you're always going to have a scar for like that being like your biggest crux.
Somebody mentioned in a comment, and
You're absolutely always going to have scars. But I've kind of dealt with all that stuff now. If I'm honest with you,
I would say that's something to, because I know going in, because where you're at just now, like when you get closer and closer to that date, because you're right, there's a lot of anxiety building up because you're stepping on stage and you're sharing your journey with everybody. Because I know you're not active in social media, but I know that if you went into that, it'd be something that you'll consistently share to attract that audience and whatnot. But that'd be something that I can tell you firsthand, like going into that, I found myself posting pictures and I remember looking at the pictures going, man, people are going to look at that and go, you're no big enough for bodybuilding, and I'd delete it, and then I start messing about with the grain and the lighting.
100%.
I go, right, I need to get a chest pump before I take that picture now, and it just led to all these different behaviours I never really found myself doing, which guess leads on to the. Well, if you do you remember we were doing overrated, underrated? I actually meant to say to you to come with overrated. I was going to say to come with like a strong overrated, underrated opinion.
You've got a strong opinion,
and we'll have a good debate.
You think.
This will not be the last time you have you on the podcast anyway, because I think there's so many topics I'd love to like speak to you about, because I think as much as me and James clicked at the start, like the best part for the audience that listens to is actually hearing a different perspective and hearing a good debate from both sides of that. And it never comes from like we're very good fucking friends, and the reason we are friends isn't because we don't have the same opinions as that. It's actually because we have a love for doing what we do 100%. And it's helping other people. So when I'm saying that, we're looking at pictures and that sort of stuff, before and after pictures, then let's get into it. So you posted on your story the other day.
I did, and the results were in there.
Yes, I saw that.
100, I think it was like 110 votes. I said to you though, man, I asked you to put it on your story because
I'll do it in the next couple of days.
It's not that definitely, right? That's one advantage, but I also loaded the fucking question, right? I didn't fucking realise I'd done it, but I gave my opinion. So when I explained like what the sort of alternate argument was, like it can cause like devaluation of the former self and of people looking at it, right? Like of the people looking at it who view themselves as worse than that, right? But I also gave my fucking opinion at the bottom, and I shouldn't have done that because I've kind of loaded the question now, and folk are going to feel more likely to agree with me than disagree with me. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't realise I'd done that. And I said to Dale, put that in your story, because it was a curiosity.
Genuine curiosity. Yeah, that's why I was saying like this is all good chat to bring on the podcast. So before and afters, like it's not just clean cut before and afters that we'll have various different opinions on. Like you can look at one side where one of Scotland's biggest transformation challenges have just finished up, the 12-week peak, and you're seeing all of these before and after pictures come out. And then on the other hand, which you do as part of your marketing, and it's fucking incredible, is like, here is somebody who came to me a year ago, and here's where they're at now. Yeah. And that, I'd say, I don't know about you, I'd say they fall into two different categories. And
12 weeks and a year's completely different.
100%.
And this is really I guess so looking at that standpoint, so as like you said, PTs, or there is a theme. It's one opposite has to argue the opposing thing. Somebody goes, oh, there's before and after, and then sometimes there's a wee bit of jealousy that comes out. It's like, nah, I'm not going to do before and after pictures because of this. I'm better than you. And you're like, well, hold on a minute, you're attacking, like, I post them, and it's just this constant back and forth. So before and afters then, so what's your stance on them? I think you use, there's an analogy you use with, was that a car? No, was that me? Was that me with the car? What was it? You said
the car, mate. No, the car.
You said an analogy once, and I was like, that's actually a good way of thinking about it that I never really thought about. But in terms of using it as marketing for PTs, do you have a hard stance on it, or do you think like each to their own when it comes to it?
I have a massively hard stance on it.
Of using them?
Aye, 100%.
Get it.
No, like
I'll get wait now. His boxing gloves.
Get it. No,
I just think, right. Obviously, I've got circumstantial evidence, right? Like based on clients that have came to me in the past, clients that are currently with me, right? You might have different evidence, but I would say a high 90% of clients are coming to me to change their physiques. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's the service they're wanting for me. Obviously, we know, right? There's a million other things that get into mental health, having the structure, just being healthy, like just changing your life just by lifting weights, by being healthy, right? But the fundamental is they want to change their physique because they're unhappy, or they just want to be better.
I was going to say, so the way I look at it and the way I see it now, especially after having Katie on, it made a lot of sense for me. Mm-hmm. I thought that I wanted to get in better shape, and I absolutely did.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see myself as a better version of me.
That's it.
And people who have came to me, they think, oh, I'm going to come to you to change your physique. Mm-hmm. But they don't actually want to change their physique. It's no the physique. The physique does change, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it's the mindset, and you can change your physique without changing your mindset.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So
100% you can.
I knew you would agree with that 100% anyway.
100% you can.
That's what I don't like progress photos in the sense, I do like progress photos by the way, and I think everybody should do them. Mm-hmm. But I think obviously, and PTs are always going to.
Did I see a back shot of you the other day?
Aye,
Your
aye,
tapas.
always,
Aye.
always.
So, but that's good because you.
But what I would say is a lot. Obviously, people that it's going to sell.
Mhm.
Absolutely, it's going to.
That's not why I do it though.
No, I'm not
it's-
saying for you, but I'm saying
Aye.
for a lot of people. Like the MTN, it sells.
Aye.
It sells, but that's 12 weeks, and that's where there's a
That's-
massive difference
I
there.
said that to you yesterday. Didn't you? We messaged each other on Instagram. I sent you a voice note. That's what it's the time frame thing. What happens after that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My client results. I'm not going to post somebody that's been with me for Amy I posted. That's about the most recent one, but she's experienced. It's different. That's different. If somebody's coming to me for zero, right? I'm not going to post a 12-week transformation of them, and then that's them done. Because then what? That's the fucking issue.
Yeah.
What have you taught them then?
Nah.
You've done fuck all.
Yeah.
You've actually just like took fat off. That's like the most common one, isn't it? It's fat loss. But I think progress photos in general, and not just like somebody that's lost weight or put on muscle. What if somebody had battled with anorexia their full life, right? And then they post a progress photo, like with a wee bit more like fat, like a healthier amount of body fat on them. That should be fucking celebrated as well.
But
It's their own.
But no one's going to celebrate that. You're only going to celebrate the big ones on
I
social
would though.
media. I would as well, and I understand. But the problem with social media is if somebody done that, and if somebody who is anorexic and they gained a little bit of weight and they post a progress photo, wouldn't it be celebrated and they would be really put down? And I would say that the ones that do the best are the ones that get in
Aye,
shape that we all look in magazines and on social media. Do you get me?
Aye, like I think any good person would celebrate that, especially if you knew them. Like if they're on your social media, there's a good chance you're going to know that person. So see if
They know
say that anorexic. I don't even know where that analogy sort of came from there, but you would celebrate that because you're like, do you know what? This is how I view it, right? It's a personal choice for you. Or if I post it for one of my clients, I would never do it unless, like, I've got many client ones that they didn't want to post. And I'm like, that's cool as fuck. That's amazing. Because you've done it for you. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But it's also a personal decision. If they want to post that and get a wee bit of gratification isn't always a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? If you've worked for something, like you with a studio, right? Like, you've done fucking amazing. You've done fucking amazing building this podcast. Fucking show it. That's amazing. Like, having a wee bit of gratification and enjoying that when you've worked your ass off or something is amazing.
I absolutely agree, but we spoke about this before. The problem with the gratification comes where you post
Seeking it.
You post the first one, you're always gonna get hundreds of likes, right? Because people are like, "Wow, that's amazing," and then 3 months later, you've still done better. You post another one, gets less, and you're like, "Why do people no like it as much?" But they do, but they're like, "Well, it's not as good, and we've already seen it."
Listen, we all like a fucking.
And then, but the problem comes, and a lot of people go down that route, is they're like, I want more.
Yeah, 100%.
You always want more.
But again, though, I wouldn't. That is shifting the issue away from progress photos, good and bad. That is then interpretation issues for me. Do you know what I mean? So say Nicholas, right? I'm guessing that was the photo you were referring to, the year one.
Aye, right. So let's talk about like just even that in itself. Incredible journey that he's been on, and fucking testament to one, his dedication and discipline and all the challenges that he's probably had to overcome to get there, and two, to you, the relationship that you built with him to kind of guide him through that.
Exactly.
That's when I'm saying that category to me falls into a different category to like a 12-week one. But just curious to hear, like, sorry I interrupted you there, but curious to hear like your thought process of, I absolutely think you should celebrate. Like, I've fucking worked hard for this.
Absolutely.
And yes, if you like, you can, again, it's all subjective, isn't it? You can look at a picture and go, I would say I wasn't in great shape there, but define great shape, and there's parameters we can put in that. But you do get to a point where you're like me and you're in a situation where I know for a fact, I've looked back at some of these pictures and was like, fucking hell, I'm in incredible shape there. But I remember telling myself, I'm not in great shape there. So I think it's a fine line. I genuinely do. And I don't know. I guess it is. It's my opinion on it is each to their own in the sense of what they're wanting to do. Absolutely. For clients and stuff like that, I don't think as a personal trainer I'll ever use it for my marketing, although it's a good marketing tool. I'll let them celebrate it if I have clients who'll tag me, look at my before and after, and I'm like, cool, brilliant. But it's no, I think it's, for me, I see myself in the people that I'm trying to help and the people that having real conversations with them. I'll choose not to do it because I want to put a different message out into the market. Not that it's right or that it's wrong. It's just I want to come at it from a
Your own
different
style.
angle.
Aye,
It's
fine.
and then this is probably where you're coming from,
Exactly.
from your style.
Exactly. I view it like it's their personal decision whether to post that or no. So it's totally up to them.
It's always
right?
it's absolutely.
And if somebody's interpreting that different, like in a negative way, if you're interpreting somebody posting their photos in a negative way, like, oh, that makes me feel shite, or
I think
are they a poser, then I think that's an interpretation issue and an issue with that.
Aye, so I think of it from another perspective. I think if anybody's thinking that I would challenge them and that, and I fuck them.
That's an interpretation issue for sure.
This is where I've had first-hand feedback, and I was posting before and afters in myself up until I remember a client, and she said to me, and she was really nervous about training and all that sort of stuff, and she was like, "Do you know that picture you posted before and after? You looked incredible in that picture to the left," and you wrote text on that saying, "Look, here's me at such and such a weight." And that was my first time going, fuck, actually, I've never thought about that from that point of view. So what would you say in the sense, like, say you posted your before and after, and it all depends in the text that you write. I don't think you would ever write any crazy text, but we all know PTs. I absolutely would have in the past, but I see it in my feed just now, and I even see it with the recent challenge. Look at such and such. Wasn't happy with her self-image, wasn't this, managed to lose 6 kilos in 12 weeks, worked her ass off, now look at her, she looks incredible. So to me, I know a lot of people, because like me, I can look at a picture subjectively being interested in bodybuilding and go, actually she looked pretty damn good in that picture. Yep. Yeah, she's got leaner, that's all that happened, but I know average people are looking at that going, fuck me, man, like, I think she looks incredible in that picture, and that's actually... Like, how can you speak so negatively about yourself? And I think this 100%. Is where that opens up the debate on what is body positivity and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely think that's where fitness can get the bad rap of, no, they're just so self-obsessed and all that, when it's not really about that.
No.
But it's that before picture that some people... Yes, it comes down to interpretation, but some people are so hard on themselves with that before picture that they then strive for this picture that is done incredible, that's testament to their discipline, no doubt about it, their training, what they're able to do. So then they post this after picture. And now everyone's seen that after picture, and like you said, what happens after your 12-week challenge? You start things slipping, you're like, fuck, I need to get back to that picture state again.
For sure.
Do you see from that's the
angle? 100% get that. The context of how you say it matters, though. Definitely.
Big time.
Like the context of how that's framed. But again, what I would, it's always got to come back to the same thing for me. If they're posting that about themselves, that's just let them post it about themselves. It's different if you're coaching other people, right?
They're
absorbing that message.
I was coming from a PT perspective
100%.
there.
If you're like, I think you forget as a coach sometimes, don't you, how much you influence your clients?
That was my first. I was like,
what you do is what they take in.
Like, sometimes you just think, I'm just going on my social, but they fucking absorb that. They do. Your clients will. You're their coach, literally. Do you know what I mean? Like, they take in more than you would want, probably sometimes. But
oh no, definitely. I realised that big time there. I was like, I need to get on the grinds. And listening to Christian's podcast, and I was like, you know what, I need to be the best person I can be. No, just for me. All my clients are watching me all the time.
Yep.
And I think that was the realisation at that point, because I was in great shape, and I was like, it's 8 weeks to my wedding, and I remember going, I actually feel good, I feel strong, but I'm going to document my journey over the next 8 weeks to tighten up. And all that was doing to my clients, and this is where I had to change my influence a wee bit, was they were seeing, like, for me that was just a nice gradual battle, but they were like, that's fucking Mount Everest you're wanting me to climb, I'm not even anywhere near that. So it was then like, I don't think I can be on this journey. So I was like, right, I was like, right, you need to, I was like, forget what I'm posting now. So that's where I took the responsibility on myself. But
I'm going to pee rapid, man.
What? We'll pause time out for sake, James. No. Watch your camera. Watch it. So that's where I was coming at it from that, and I look at, do you follow Ultimate Performance, UP?
Nope.
They have some of the most craziest transformations ever, and they put the weeks up and all that. Some people take 42 weeks, some people take 16, and to me that's fascinating for me to see as a coach, and I can get on board with the argument for it. I can get on board for the argument against it, and I think that's why I wanted to speak to you about it, because I think at the end of the day, each to their own. Like, if you absolutely should celebrate your wins, celebrate from a place where you come from. But I think as well, and I guess, would you ever the way you used to speak to yourself, I bet you, if, like you said, that outer body experience,
very
hearing your
negatively.
clients speak to themselves, you're like, well, cut that right now.
Exactly.
You're changing the journey just now.
100%.
You're already on that path. Can you see where I'm coming from that perspective?
100%, but see, having you as a coach, so if they're communicating their interpretation of what you posted on your wedding journey, was that
It was
for
like
your wedding,
aye.
right? So also your job as a coach, there's a lot of psychology involved in what we do as well, right? It's the knowledge of training and helping nutrition, the guidance, the accountability, all it's in one big pot, right? But you can then help them interpret it. Like, I'm very much with my clients, like, you're on your own journey. So is here, like, everybody's doing their own thing. So I think, like, your job as a coach, and you fucking do, like, I know you do, is help them on their own journey.
It's to step them away from the comparison side of things. I think
Exactly.
that's the bit at the end of the day.
That's why I'm saying it's an interpretation issue, because it's like they're relating it to their own experiences and their own journey,
Aye.
and it shouldn't be.
And I
That's
think
an issue.
Your education around your before and afters is, it's like, look, here's what we've done. Here's the physical bit, but also here's the mental bit. Here's everything on the journey, and there's also a follow up to that, which I like as well. Now, the reason so why we give before and afters a lot of shit, why we did recently, is because PTs will doctor the fuck out of them.
Oh, aye.
So what do you think of that? Do you see that being do you see that in your feed a bit?
Aye, of course.
Like
of
they've
course.
breathed out, you're like, what's
Aye.
going on here? Lighting's different.
Even
What's
have
going on?
PTs putting their clients on fucking steroids and stuff like that as well. It's wild, man.
Aye.
Like this game that we do, right, and love, is full of fucking charlatans, right? And it's, I love my analogies, right? So my analogy for this is, you go to a barber, right? You can tell instantly shite or good when you come out and look at your fucking hair. You can't do much with this. It's no Calvin's fault. This is just getting old. But you go to a PT, man, it's a fucking long game we play, right? Like we don't want 6
Quick
weeks.
fixes,
We don't like
can't
that's,
do them.
you are teaching them the wrong thing there. You're not going to see it. And there's so many fucking charlatans in this game. And again, like we spoke about earlier, you can be qualified, but that means fuck all. That means it means less than fuck all. Like, they type of people are, they're what's ruining it. Know the before and afters. The folk that are try to get people absolutely shredded just to get a before and after. It's not about that.
Yeah.
Like, my before and afters are with people that I've worked with for a fucking long period of time, built in the trenches, like mastering form, and then progressively increasing their training plan, which is what the premise of my training is. That's how that's been built. Yeah. Like, small changes over time. No fucking, right, we'll put you in a 4,000 calorie deficit and put you in a tread. Like, that's...
And we'll take a picture on 12
weeks.
That's
fucking nonsense, man. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think about... Because I've had to challenge a few people have not wanted to train with me initially because they thought every PT they work with, there has to be a before and after. And like you said, I'm sitting on like I've got tons of before and afters that we could do because it's great for them in their own eyes and whatever. And yes, if they want to post it, they can post it. But I think there's like, think it leads to like an expectation that there has to be a physical transformation all the time as well? Or would you say there should be a physical transformation with everyone that you train?
No, no. It depends. That's what I mean. It depends. Like, so we provide a service, right? Like a fucking hairdresser. You tell the barber what you're looking for. Although our game's a wee bit more complex in the sense that it's not just the body you want, like you say, right? It's you will feel better mentally, you'll feel better physically, and you'll look better. It's like
and that client, when they come in,
they don't know that. They don't know that yet, which is why it's a wee bit more complex. So I can see that for sure. But again, it's kind of our job once they come with us. But like, see clients that come to us, right? It's physique based to start with, usually. Yeah. Well,
so this is where it's quite interesting. For me, not posting before and afters, I get people coming in there because they're like, so my target audience, I guess, if you look at it that way, and I only do this because I know you put MD in front of me, from getting in shape for American getting in shape for bodybuilding, to becoming performance athlete for American football, to a 7-year-old that just wants to be able to put our suitcase in the overhead fucking locker, right? So such a variety. The people, so I've been exposed to that for so long, and maybe you will end up pivoting, and I honestly think you will. I think as soon as you start getting bodybuilding clients, you'll be like, I fucking love this even more so, and I want to help as many people as I can. That's why we do a podcast, and that's why I try to branch out and do different things. But in my roots, it's always been like older aged people from over the age of 40. So, and when I started pivoting my message saying, look, before and afters, like you can sometimes, to get attention, you need to say some outrageous shit, but it's not that I have a knock on them. It's just I'm not going to use them in as my marketing, and that's my choice to do that. But what that's then done is people are coming to me and going like, actually, I have no confidence walking into a gym. I just want to be able to confidence to lift weights. I don't want my back to hurt. My shoulders are killing me. And I'm like, interesting.
Amazing.
And I think that's where you need to identify like what is it that you want to do, and you do what you do well. Like and that then attracts. Fucking hell, that was an amazing transformation he got. That such and such.
You see, the thing is, but as well, like that's kind of not like how I'm known, but that's what you've took away from my social media, right? But that's only because the clients want to post them.
Yeah.
Right, they want to celebrate them. But I've got a million other people like you, like the people you just described there, like a boxer that's totally fucking transformed his like athletic performance.
But so I remember you've had him for quite a while, haven't you?
No, Brendan's not with me anymore.
Right,
so like it's sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say, like, when you're posting about them, it's just funny because you end up attracting the people's like, I didn't know you trained boxers. Fuck it, I'm gonna start training with Jay.
Exactly, it's like like you said, right? It's the wow factor ones, and that's the ones you've retained for my, even though we're pals, right? That's the ones you've retained for my social media. But I've got a million people like that as well. I had a guy that actually seen you'd similar. I'd never post this, it's a wee bit too personal, but reverse type 2 diabetes.
Aye.
Like I've had a client that done that as well, right? And that was a big fuck's sake moment for me.
Yeah,
It actually reduced me to tears, like no joke. I started crying when he told me that because he came to me.
What hits harder? Like, do you see like that? Like what hits harder for your client?
Bigger
like,
client one.
Aye. For them. So you've had clients doing amazing physique wise. And you said clients doing like actual reversing medical conditions.
Yeah.
Like, do you see a difference in how they celebrate the win?
Again, progress photos, 2 points in time, but all the work that culminated into that isn't getting showed. So for me, it's all about mini wins, being stronger on certain lifts that you weren't before, constantly over a year period, results in the progress photo. It's just like it's not about the photos, it's about the journey, and the photos just sort of articulate that beautifully. That's why I like them. I'm like, you've worked for it, and it shows. Obviously, you can't see all the time we've spent together, all the laughs, all the progressing numbers, perfecting movements. You don't see that. You just see the photos at the end. It's just kind of like
the rest of the journey is definitely better than the photos, though.
Of course it is.
Aye.
Of course it is.
Aye.
So I think that's where I come from, and I'm like, you know what? If you want to post a photo at the end of this, by all means, but
exactly
I'm going to share. I'm going to like. That's how I'm starting to.
But exactly the same. It's just the only difference being is that I'll post them, like, on my feed. Like the client wants to post them, and that's why I post them. Like I send, I edit out the white background, and I send them just the folk that are chasing physique and deal with that mentally. Like my first thing when I check in is, like, somebody comes to me for say 1-to-1 coaching, right? I ask them, are you comfortable taking measurements? Right? If it's a physique change they want, are you comfortable taking measurements? Are you comfortable taking photos? If they're not, we don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fine.
And that's a sign of a good coach. And that's actually where I was going with that tangent, but you stood up to be and fucking threw me off. But I've got a few Muslim clients, and they hadn't reached out to me in just over 6 months to a year because they thought with every PT that you go with, you have to take pictures, and that was like obviously like in their culture and religion and that sort of stuff. And I was like, no, I says, if you're not comfortable with anything, there's so many other ways we can measure progress. And I think that's really what it comes down to for me. It's probably, how do you measure, like you can measure progress with before and afters, and that is definitely sexy in the fitness industry. It gets more likes. Take one of my clients recently, I sat her down, spoke to her for 17 minutes, and I've been chopping up that video, and I've started putting that out, and I'm noticing there was like engagement wasn't as high, and she's got an amazing like picture of like a before and then this dress that she ended up on, and it's amazing. And I know if I post that'll get more eyes and more attention, that sort of thing. And I was just like, well, if she's already posted that before, and I was like, right, cool, that's good enough for me. I was like, I'm fine with like try to put out that other message. Know that it's right, know that it's wrong, know that it's better than anything else. But I think this is where, at the end of the day, who cares? But so I guess shifting, like, this all comes from body image.
Yeah,
and
massive body image issues in today's day and age. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So everybody's struggling probably more than ever due to social media, etc.
Definitely, you're more visible, aren't you? So
how are you combating this with clients, or do you see it Do you see it as a rising issue, like body image stuff, or you like
With my clients personally,
just in general? I guess like
in general, yeah. With my clients personally, no, I'm not really seeing that. No, no with clients in general. Obviously, as like social media, it's hard for everybody, isn't it? I couldn't imagine being in high school and dealing with this.
Aye, straight up.
Holy fuck, man, that would have
the,
been
the
horrendous.
3 likes on Bebo nearly fucking ruined.
I
I was like,
Bebo.
nobody's giving me no likes. It was love, wasn't it?
Love,
You were allowed
aye.
to give 3 loves.
It's a hard world to live in.
Yeah.
To be, like,
I couldn't.
no lie,
I
man.
honestly, thank fuck we came up with my dad, because that would have been
even no, but
Shit.
no,
we're not getting old.
I was saying this. Even phones, like the fact that you can video a 4K video. Think of the crazy shit that you used to get up to in high school with your pal. Even fucking primary, like running a bit daft. So we had this chat with Katie around body positivity and that sort of stuff. So do you have like a hard stance and all this sort of stuff? Because as fitness coaches or whatever you want to label yourself as, we want to have a positive influence on people better in their health. And I think I would say the message itself is good, but it then gets overridden by politics. It then has various different messages that can be outseen of it.
Actually, sorry.
I know. I was just going to say, from Katie's point of view, that's the first time I've seen a different side and a different arse. So I'm curious to hear like your take on that whole message.
I listened to it, and I think she's got a lot of good points. Like, you can tell she actually gives a fuck, obviously due to her own experiences in the past and stuff like that as well. You can tell she cares. That was a good podcast. I enjoyed that.
It was a good one.
Where was I going with that? I would say, I think both of you said it for me. Basically, like, I was thinking it as I was watching the podcast, to celebrate like obesity though as health. That again, that's you went totally to the to celebrate. Like you asked me earlier, as bodybuilders, do you see that's healthy on stage? Of course, I fucking know they're dehydrated. They're that lean that they can't even sit in a chair, or their ass kills them. Right, that's not healthy. But to picture that as this is health, it's wrong. To picture somebody like severely obese and like that, you can't say that's healthy though. Like, you can go too far on that tangent, is what I'm saying.
Aye, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree, 100%.
But what she said was I thought was a good point. Is like, they need clothes as well. So if they're going to get into fitness,
That's
like,
when
and
I
I'm like,
heard that as
and I'm
well,
like,
I was
do you know
like,
what?
wow.
I'm like, aye, fair enough.
I got a few people DMing me like before that we'd done that podcast, and obviously we done an episode on obesity and dealing with morbidly obese clients and that sort of stuff and transforming their lives and speaking to them, and I felt I had a pretty good kind of pulse on it. But one thing I was missing was that it was like you're missing what, like that's not body positivity. It's just nice to see someone the same size as me, the same shape as me, like in a movie or in something like that. I'm doing something about it, but it's just nice to see that.
Aye.
But I think you're right. It's like saying this is health.
Aye.
Like this is where
That's wrong. It's
like
so wrong.
like same way like the athletes and everything. This is health. Like Cristiano
Aye.
Ronaldo and he's healthy. It's like, well, like think of the stuff that he's having to go through. Would you actually define that self? Like was like high performing athletes need to make a sacrifice. Like basketball players don't squat full range of motion, right? And would you actually say that self? No, they're training for performance, so it's completely different fucking narratives.
Of course it is, for sure. Where was it? I was going with something there, and my mind's just totally.
Sorry,
you threw me off.
die.
You threw me off with Ronaldo. Do you know what I was thinking about there with Ronaldo? I remember when he was obviously at the top of the game for ages, and he was promoting that fucking 6-pack ab thing.
He was Herbalife as well, man.
See, I know, mate.
He is Herbalife.
Aye.
That's what. So did you hear the debate I was getting into with people with Herbalife? Don't know if you've seen it on Facebook.
I've seen some of that episode.
So there's a girl that lives in my estate, and she was. I was
got the Herbalife card.
Aye, and I was just like,
It's
I was like,
man.
no, I was like, you honestly are missing a point here. You're there's so much disconnect you have. And she was like, but like we've got some of the biggest ambassadors in the world. Cristiano Ronaldo's promoting it. I was like, that doesn't mean shit.
That means
fuck all.
That
like,
means nothing.
And this is where celebrity workouts and all this sort of stuff
Bullshit,
you could go
man.
down the rabbit hole with.
You're gonna get me triggered now.
Oh, I know. That's what we're trying.
Mate, come
You're
on.
gonna get me fucking triggered, man.
Try to get a viral
I had a
clip.
PT, right, who was in TC, and he was a Herbalife fucking advocate, and he used to try and get his fucking clients to do the shakes, and saying like, they're see the thing is, right, these type of people, they're all,
It's a cult.
they seem indoctrinated.
It's a cult.
It's like, see if you just asked a simple question, why would that work more than
Food.
aye?
Chicken rice.
Aye, if calories are equated, right, why is that special?
Aye.
why am I paying 4 times a fucking, in fact, it's got probably about 40 times markup when I can get all the vitamins and minerals? There's no magic formula in there. What the fuck? There's nothing. That's doing nothing. Tell me why. Why should I buy Herbalife? They're like,
no idea.
Don't know.
No idea.
They've
no idea. They're just like, oh, fuck it, it's kind of healthy. It says healthy on it.
See that guy's client, he was trying to get him to buy Herbalife again, right? What he done was he bought protein and put it in his Herbalife fucking tub just to show him, like, I've still got loads of it.
You just get talked up with 20 quid my protein.
That's amazing, man.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
So I wanted to actually hear you talk about, like, because obviously a lot of people listening to this and they're on their own health and fitness journey and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you've had some fundamental, amazing transformations, but also like stuff that you don't really see on social media. So like, can you talk because we all what's so fascinating is you speak to different coaches and the principles are the same and the foundations are the same, but everyone's got their own kind of tweak in terms of how they do things.
Yeah.
We used to, like, we done the overrated, underrated. This is what I was saying to you before, and James would come with one, and I'd come with one, and then just naturally, like, your name would come into my mind. I'm like, Jay's gonna think we're actually going after him.
We're actually after you, by the way.
Listen, you were always very, like, complimentary. And I know. There's folk in the gym that would come up and go, "Oh, they're talking about you again." I'm like, fucking get a half-hour break between clients. I'm like,
from a place of love, for sure.
Of course.
But regardless, and what I'm starting to piece out is there's actually no right or wrong. We just need more people fighting a good fight of putting a good message out there of health and fitness. So talk us through, like, what do you do with clients then? Because I'm genuinely curious. I don't think I've saw you PT, but I don't think we've actually sat down and had this conversation. So if you take
Nicholas,
MD for example,
amazing transformation. Like,
so
one of the best. Like, amazing.
No, he's incredible.
Amazing.
He's incredible.
Genuinely amazing.
And I think what you're going to do with his transformation, which might end up happening, but to me, this is where you're like, fucking hell, you see the impact that you can make as a person, is you're potentially going to lead him down the path of being advocates. He's already an inspiration to other people, but he could end up being the guy that you were. You started having a true love for it, and then you start making it your career.
Mate, that's basically what's going to happen.
I could see it, man.
It's going to happen.
You can always tell, and I think that, to me, that's how you talk about word of mouth. So if I inspire 2 people and then you inspire 2 people, that's where you make true impact. And we talk about obesity and all. Yes, I have so much empathy, and you'll have more so because you've came from that place, you've seen it and dealt with the shit growing up firsthand. And there has to be a place of empathy in it, but there's also a change that needs to happen, or we're going to have a real fucking culture shock of what's going to happen, especially in the UK. We're all like, oh, look at America. We're not far behind America when you go there with portion sizes and all this sort of stuff. So talk us through that journey anyway. Like, you on board the client, like what's the key kind of things that you're doing through that journey with them?
Well, again, like we spoke about earlier, what is it they want? Right, because I've had many clients that just came to me like, I don't want you to help me with my nutrition. I'm like, cool. Don't want to take photos, don't want to take measurements. Cool, that is cool. I just want you to show me how to train. And see, to me, like, that's why I'm saying I don't want to just train bodybuilders or Gen Pop.
Because you like that.
And I love the variety. And I view that as my responsibility to be able to give people what they're buying my service for. Like, if somebody comes to me and said, "This is what I want, can you help me?" Like, I want to be able to help them. I don't want to, like, talk to a target. Like, you just find what you love, right? Your target audience, but you could help a million other types of people.
Yeah.
Right? You have the ability to.
And I'll never knock them back.
Exactly.
That's the thing as well. Like, and I'll probably branch out, but it's just like what you want to do. And right now, I want to train more of the people, and I'll probably change, like you said, getting a variety of different
100%.
stuff. But so, let's say someone comes in with, because most people's issues are like, a common theme is weight loss, fat loss. So talk us through that journey when you're getting a client on board.
I don't want to be that guy that goes, it depends, but it does.
It's a sign of a good PT,
it
but
really does depend. It really does depend. Try to think back to Nicholas's journey just because we were on him. But he won't mind me talking about this. Like, I wouldn't say it otherwise. He does not mind.
Don't worry, we'll put your tags up there and make sure everybody follows you and put you in the limelight, mate.
Nicholas Delaney, PT, coming soon. I'm actually thinking about doing some work with him once he qualifies. He's got a wee bit more to learn than that, and then I think he could be fucking amazing.
He's on a great journey, and look, this is how most people start as PTs, isn't
Absolutely.
it? We see our own growth, and you're like, fucking hell.
Man, you're like, fucking love
I love that shit, and I feel it's like you miss it when you don't have it, don't you? Like, when you don't train, you're like, something like, am I missing an organ or something? Like, this is like, he has totally changed his life, and it's not just about the fat loss. It's not just about the muscle gain. He's got purpose.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? He's got purpose.
That's
now,
why he got to where he went. That's why he got to where he got to, because he's seen the pure purpose in it. He's seen the value in it, and he went for it.
Like we say, the photos are just, it's just a way to sort of take a snapshot of it. It's so much deeper than that.
What did he reach out with in the first place? How did he come to you in the first place?
Because one of his friends is my wee cousin's boyfriend,
right.
And he trained in my gym. He came across my Instagram. And basically, I think he'd seen that I'd been on a similar path to him to start with, so he asked me for help. Basically, how do I do this? And to that, I don't know if you've seen the post I posted on Instagram the other day. It was like a screenshot of messages.
The text, what's going to happen?
It's a bit. It's fucking impossible in your mind. Like, you've obviously I came for being obese. You came for being the skinny guy, right? So we're at two different ends of the spectrum, but we're coming to the fucking same place. Just better. Like, do you know what I mean? Just better. But I think he just said, this guy's fucking done what I'm viewing as impossible. And he's obviously got the secret. There's no really secrets. There's optimal ways to do things, right? Which is different for every person. But
the fundamentals will always remain the same.
But the thing is with him, even having me like for guidance and stuff like that, I like to get folk in and loving training before we start attacking nutrition, because it's always last, isn't it? Like, was it last for you?
Because you always think you come from a place when you're training that you can out train a bad diet, and then I went from the wee skinny guy and then put on muscle mass. I was like, I'm looking good, bigger, more food, and then ended up I was just lying on my side one night and I was like, my arms look good in t-shirts, but I was on my belly saying something else here, and I'd put on like I've got a picture, and I don't know if I would say I was obese. I definitely had a lot more fat on me than what I once had, and then that just allowed me to catch it and pivot it. But so your journey with him with people would like fall in love with the training side of things first. And
that's to me, that's key. If I can get that to happen, I know that snowball coming for the top of the mountain gains momentum, right? Like, I know that for a fact. Once you start loving training, the pieces of the puzzle just start fitting together. You're not going to keep going out. See, if you truly you've got a love for training now, you're not going to go out on a Friday, Saturday night and get pished, and then you notice your performance dip on Monday, and then keep repeating that cycle. It starts to resonate with you. You found that?
So that's where the changes start to happen. So what's your strategy with training and falling in love with training? Like, what is is it like a specific framework that you're applying, or is it? I know it's going to be different.
It depends. It totally depends on what the client's goal is. Like Nicholas to me kind of just said, have the reins, basically, right? And a lot of clients do that, but I kind of gave him an isolation split right off the bat. But the fundamental goal to start with is perfect form. Feel how it should feel, like feel everything. Feels like, see, back training, right? Like, folk training their back. See, if you actually ask people, see, when you train your back, do you actually feel it when you're trying to isolate it?
I feel it here in my forearms.
Forearms,
biceps,
and my wrist. Do you know what I mean? And then you watch them do a row, and they're rowing at that angle. I'm like, that's a fucking bicep curl. That's why nobody feels their back. Like, even at high up levels, like, I've spoke to bodybuilders that can't feel their back when they train.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It's like, so feeling the desired muscle group. If muscle gains the goal, obviously it might not be. Like, I'm not going to do that with like athletes. It's not about that. It's about performance and strength. But teach them how things should feel, how things should be performed. Kind of adopt it to their biomechanics, because everybody's different with that. Do you know what I mean? I've got certain movements I can't fucking deadlift. Right?
Don't believe you.
Here we go.
I don't believe you.
No, it's this, and it doesn't suit me.
Don't believe you at
Listen,
all, mate.
I'm no.
You just tell. No, you just lied to us, man. You just lied to us.
I wouldn't deadlift even if I was super proficient at it. I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Here we go.
What's your point?
Because it's too full body for me. I train 6 days a week or 5, right? I've told you this before. We'll talk about it in the podcast.
I know that's how I know.
Your energy got all fucking wrapped up there. I love it.
Let's get up.
So it's too full body, man. It's like, I like to isolate muscle groups, right? That's my goalie training. Deadlifts are full body. Glutes, quads, hamstrings, back. It's so full body, everything.
Would you never put it as a foundational work though?
100%.
Build that foundation.
100%. I use it for some clients.
Aye.
what I mean.
Aye. No, I've seen a few. You're
Aye,
there.
it's not. I fucking hate deadlifts.
Aye.
Rack pull.
Aye.
It's too full body for me.
Rack pull.
What's it called
Got it
again?
there,
What's that wee game you play?
Overrated.
Aye.
Underrated.
Aye.
Right, so
I wish we could do scientific tests on rack pulls and deadlifts out there, but we
There's
don't.
probably something out there which is
there will
fascinating.
be.
But
let's have the conversation though. Right, so how is
it's what your desired outcome is.
honestly,
honestly,
of course
it comes down to that question, and if your desired outcome's back, then again, personal preference and experience is going to come into it. You'll have your bias towards rack pulls, and you'll have your bias towards deadlifts. I'll have my bias towards deadlifts or rows or something. We'll all have our opinions, and
rows are king.
and this is the thing though. Like anyone listening to this, and I always say this: whatever you choose to do doesn't need to be optimal. You stick to it, you're going to get better
100%.
at it, and then you stick to. I would always encourage somebody to go do rack pulls, do deadlifts, make your own fucking
100%.
decision.
But I think the biggest thing
you
about
can do.
this is rack pulls, deadlifts, compound movement.
Aye,
Do
of
you know
course.
what I mean? You're building the density for a compound movement.
See, the thing is as well, like, see if you, like I say, it goes back to, can I get the client to fucking love training? So see if they've had a tiny bit of experience with the gym and they go, I think deadlifts are so fucking fun. I would agree, they fucking are.
Aye, they are.
Right?
Aye.
If you want that in as your big compound movement and your goal is to gain back, fucking let's do it, man. We'll program run about that. For me personally,
and for the rest of the Gym 24 PTs as
aye.
well.
Listen, mate, they're there for the fucking best. What can I say? I will like it. I just think if folk have a back day or a pull day, right? Especially some female clients, right? Like some female clients I've got 2 or 3 leg days in a week.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what they want. They build up to that. Say they've got 5 days. Could be glute and hamstring, quad and glute and quad, right? That could be the 3 days, just say for example. I can't have them fucking deadlifting on their back day. RDL would be a better movement for me. Do you know what I mean? For their glute and hamstring day, RDLs would be my choice over a conventional deadlift.
RDLs are king.
Aye.
Absolutely.
Again, it depends on the fucking goal though. Because if one person if somebody comes to me and says, I've only got time for one movement in the gym, I'd say fucking conventional deadlift. That would be the one movement.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't work like that.
No, I honestly completely agree with everything.
Aye, so you're going to have to.
I like that.
You're going to have to change your whole structure if you start then doing more full body stuff or these full body movements like your deadlifts and that. But that's where like this is the beauty of this, because my style I would never do. Like even like this is the great thing and the beauty of training in general. There's no, I don't know, like I don't think there is an optimal way of training no matter who you listen to. I think there's general rules and principles you apply, and what's going to be optimal is what you enjoy the most.
100%.
Because like my clients' leg days, I'll never split. Like if I take Jillian's wanted to grow her legs and her butt and all that sort of stuff, and we just stuck to deadlifts, compound movements, Bulgarians, walking lunges, hip thrusts, and that's all we needed because we were stuck in lockdown.
Absolutely.
And I was like, right, cool. And this is where COVID was such a beautiful thing to happen for my health and fitness knowledge, because I was like, I was nearly the guy where I was building a hamstring and glute day and all that sort of stuff, and it's not that that's right or wrong again, it's just that then I've had my bias shaped towards that, so then I'm going, right, cool, that's what we'll do now. And then you've obviously went down the path of like what you love, and then what kind of makes sense in this isolation split phase, and it makes sense to apply that. So for somebody to go, right, you should be deadlifting now, I think it comes from a place, or where I come from, it's a place of fundamental movements. Do you do any of that at all? Like so you know, if somebody's doing rack pulls, for example, and they get strong and strong and strong at doing that, there's a time where you lose a bit of skill work by bending over and picking something up because you're not as strong or whatever it is. That's really the argument. There's other ways to strengthen that movement, of course. If you take a squat, for example, would you ever not have somebody, or I guess would you program squats, or would you not program squats for the fundamental movement of having the ability to sit down and get back up, or do you never approach it from that point of view?
Again, I've not had, I'm trying to think. So I've had a 70-year-old man come to me, and his goal was just to learn how to lift. Right, and he had like a predetermined bias of isolation training, because kind of what most folk do, isn't it? It was isolation training. Kind of say 80% of people do that. So that's kind of what he wanted to do. So we done that. But he had fucking great mechanics, man. He had fucking amazing mechanics. He just had to refine for him. So I've not really had somebody that I've had to go that basic way. This is why we're doing this, to perform this basic function of life. I've not really had that, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Which is quite weird considering the amount of fucking clients I've trained. But I've never really had somebody that had to go that basic way.
Yeah.
To be honest.
What's the minimum time people work out? Like you get people to work out?
Would
Is
you
it
mean?
like 40?
Length
Is it
sessions? Is that what you mean?
Like per week, you mean?
No. Per week. Like, is it if you're going down the isolation route? Is it always like 4 or 5 day minimum?
No, there's
Can you
some.
do it on 3?
Aye, there's. It depends. That's what I mean. It's so person dependent.
Sorry, I mean for the those types of people though, like that's looking like if you're falling in love with training, obviously the more you're exposed to it. I see your strategy and why you would do that. But do you ever find like clients struggling to get into the gym that much?
Aye. Oh, I do. Aye, that's what I mean. It doesn't. That's kind of my safety net end goal is isolation training. Just because I've seen the results I've got for that, so I probably have a bias to that. But I'd struggle to even switch my mindset as to like how full body training would benefit them once they're experienced. So full body training would be for me, like you say they've only got 2 days in the gym. Then 2 full bodies are an upper lower, right? Which is kind of full body training anyway. I don't like 100%. I have used that, and I will continue to, but kind of separating the days more often and getting them in more often if they want to be. Some folk can't, but if they can get in more often, I'd like to isolate a wee bit more. Just because I've seen the success that's gave me, kind of my pinnacle of no health, right? No health.
Right.
No, like
I like how you said it though.
like no health, right? But the training in my mind, the pinnacle of training is bodybuilding, right? There's a reason that bodybuilders, if your goal is muscle gain and aesthetic change, isolate. Do you know what I mean? I would be quite egotistical to just go against that when they have done that consistently. Like I don't know any bodybuilder that full body trains unless they're on a deload week. Do you know what I mean?
So this is what, see like Mike Menser's old stuff, and even if you look at bodybuilding just now, like Chris Mumstead and like all like top level athletes, there's definitely a difference when you're applying I guess it's no full body training, but it's compound lifts. I think that's where I've maybe called it full body training, but really we're talking about compound lifts in the past, and I think that's the stick that that would be the reason I say some outrageous shit like body splits are a waste of time, because what seen as body splits or isolations is a lot of cable work, and it's like there's no compound fucking movements in your life. You're doing machines, 100%. You're farting about, you're not actually getting to any intensity at all, and there's utility for machines. But yeah, I think like you're saying that's why I was saying like it's good to understand the framework of what you're going through and the strategy in it, and this is where you can absolutely get on board with it. So moving on for that, like nutrition, then what's like your general framework with that with clients? Like
again, it would my first thing is, what have you done? What have you done recently? That would be number one for me. What have you been doing? Have you been trying to change? Have you been putting yourself into a stupid deficit because your weight's, that penny drop moment we always talk about with clients, right? Usually that leads to ultra deficit, which is just no healthy.
Oh man,
right?
It's hard.
So how I kind of balance it, I'm going off on so many tangents, sorry. How I kind of balance the ratios is my training style, once I get them, once they've learned the mechanics of training, like how the movements I want, I kind of design their plan based on their mechanics. My goal for them, say it's a weight loss client, right, we'll just use that for an example. If their gym performance keeps increasing, right, well, they're in a deficit. So it's not about weight loss, it's not about that. But if we're in a deficit and their gym performance keeps increasing, I know that for a fact that they're no too deep in that deficit, like they're no digging a hole that they can't get out with. If I'm with them long term and they've been in a deficit long term, their energy levels are good, their mental health's good, and their strength's improving. That to me is kind of the biggest indicator that we're okay in terms of calories. Do you know what I mean?
Space,
because again, Nicholas, I was going to tell that story and we went off on a tangent again, but Nicholas, for example, once we learned the mechanics, I gave him a certain amount of calories which were high because it was quite heavy at the time, right? So he totally didn't listen to me and went fucking stupid low, try to rush the process, which is time frames is so key. Like, see if we can get a message across, it's stop chasing fucking time frames and just chase change.
And
if
that's
change is what you're endeavouring. Do
Aye.
you know what I mean?
That's where the before and afters really come with that 12-week time frame. It's like,
Aye.
oh, look what I can do in 12 weeks. You're not ready for that, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, you need to
No.
back up. You need to actually back up and get these principles, like these foundations in
100%,
check.
man.
So,
100%.
people rush into that. So from there, so he learned that firsthand. And what was that
basically
experience like?
he dropped his cows, I think, maybe what was it? Like 1,600, 700 below what I wanted, which is fucking massive.
How do you get to check on clients? Because you don't use like an app or anything. You're quite old school, aren't you?
I mean, I told you before, I like working with kind of a limited amount of clients so I can be totally involved with everything.
Aye.
Like, so they all have my WhatsApp.
Right.
So some of them, again,
Did they send you food logs?
Aye.
Right. Okay.
If they want to.
Right.
If they want to. They'll just send me their stats. Some people like that daily accountability. It's not like so, oh, Big J can shout at them. It's not about that. It's just they like ticking the boxes all day, send it to my coach. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that. It's not like if I see 1,000 calorie surplus, you're like, I'm not going to shout at them, right? It's just it helps them. It's person dependent.
2 extra sets of Bulgarians next time I see you.
Absolutely burpees, punishment. But Nicholas, for example, I came into the gym. He hadn't sent me stats in a few days, I think. I came into the gym on the Monday. I think his bench was at like 50 kilograms at that time. He was right at it, quite early on in his journey. He couldn't move 50. I think we got like 7 or 8 the week before. Sometimes you're not strong, right? It happens. I says to him,
levels to the
I
game.
could see it, but he looked deflated. Aye. And I'm like, what you been doing with your calories? He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you seem fucking deflated as fuck. What is up? Like, what have you been doing with your calories? And he showed me. And I'm like, right, that's why you've no fucking strength. So that's how I kind of use that as a guide. It's a good indicator. See if you're getting stronger, right? You can't be that depleted. Obviously, a deficit is a state of depletion by design, right? But
you can't get stronger being in an aggressive
no
deficit.
long term. No over any more than 4 weeks, that's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
One of the podcasts is about to release before this one's just what we spoke about, that calories is more than weight loss and weight gain. It's actual fucking fundamental energy.
It's just fuel, man.
You need that. People don't like. There's such a big disconnect with that, which is so fascinating, isn't it?
Deficit's a tool if fat loss is your goal, right? Fat loss, no weight loss. No weight loss, man. That's a message. Muscle, that's a message users try to communicate, which is important, right? Like, that is amazing. It's fat loss you're chasing, man. It is like, but folk just don't understand it. Most people are very indoctrinated into thinking, drop my calories to achieve a certain goal, which is why Herbalife doesn't work, which is why fucking Weight Watchers and all that shit doesn't work. It's just limiting.
Long-term success, isn't it?
I say this to my client all the time. Can you see this diet, these foods that we stick to? Can you stick to that long term? They're like, aye, 'cause it's what I eat anyway. So you asked me what framework they use, right? I ask my clients to design 3 columns. If their goal is weight loss, it's food low in calories, food high in protein, and food that you fucking like and are happy to eat. And see the foods that make up the 3 columns. That's our best diet. And then I worry about manipulating the calories there, and I try and get them away from thinking deficit to think protein.
Aye.
So rather than depleting, like a depletion mindset, it's no, gain more protein.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to promote.
Aye.
And it fucking works, man. Like
protein first
I've
of
got
all,
so
every
much,
single time.
Aye, got so much data on that fucking working that I'm probably biased, but it fucking works.
No, I know.
What I mean?
It's protein performance. You need to look at. This is why you can't just like, okay, you're hitting this number. Let's keep hitting this number. But I always say to clients, like, if you're highly stressed, you're not sleeping great, your weights are getting weaker and weaker in the gym, I don't care if 10 kilo comes off in that scales, you're fucking up and we need to stop, because you're losing muscle, you're losing, yes, you're losing body mass, but your body fat percentage is going to go up, because even though you can lose weight, you can actually get fatter by losing weight. And it just seems so crazy to get people's head wrapped around. That's why I put up the poll today. I was like, do you get insulted when people say, oh my God, you've lost weight? Because we're so fixated on the weight number just now, and I was like, we need to fucking move away. I was like, cheers for actually saying where I came from.
I quite like that, man, when somebody says that.
Right. Knowing the bodybuilding space, you look like you lost weight. What the fuck? Well, I need to start training harder.
Scales for being the big fat heavy guy. Do you know what I mean? That's scales for that. Somebody call me skinny. I'm like, see Lindsay for Aroma. He calls me skinny every time he sees me, because he knows like that triggers bodybuilders. I'm like, cheers me, I'm cutting.
Cut life.
Ideal.
So it must be quite crazy because even in the space of 10, 15 years, you've probably had experience going, what did you get called, like the big fat bastard and all the kind of words and that?
Of course.
And then you can identify as that guy. And then I guess, so this is where we actually brushed over this, but going on holidays and going off plan and off routine and all that sort of stuff. Our podcast, Bulletproof Mindset, and obviously there's a level of mindset that goes into this game regardless of what happens.
Yep.
What would be some of your advice to someone going through that, and what sort of resiliency that you need to have? Do you have any hard rules, any frameworks, anything that you would
But going
can
on
talk
holiday,
to? Going off plan, or like just
Aye.
in general, like for what you've experienced?
clients going on holiday, I think having the mindset of like, always track. I think that's like, in holiday. I just want my clients just to go with the flow, do whatever you want to do on holiday, because that's what I do. Like there may be some damage control and they happen like the back end of that, but holidays just time to no think about that. Don't even train if you don't want to train. If you want to track and you want to train, do it. But holidays are mental checkout. It should be. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of we work all year to go 1 or 2 holidays a year. Just take it.
Yeah.
Just take it.
And I think the interesting thing with that is I always find with clients that come back and they're like, actually had quite a lot to drink, had cocktails, all inclusive. I've jumped on the scales and it's the same.
Aye.
And I always say to them that it probably shows how stressful your life is, because when you're on holiday, you don't have that stress and your body actually metabolizes and functions better.
Yep.
And just being in sunlight, and you probably walked a wee bit more, you done a wee bit of activity. So this is what we're trying to get you to do back home. Organically, you see what I mean?
I've got a client who works 12-hour days and he gets 1 day off, and I can see when his day off is on the scales.
Yeah.
He loses about 1.5 kilos,
It's
and
mental.
then he gains it all back the next day.
Just
And I'm
because of
like,
stress.
what the
and
fuck's
movement.
happening here? And then he's like, is it Wednesday? I'm like, you're off on a Tuesday, and he's like, aye. I'm like, mate, that shows you how stressful your work is.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Cortisol rise.
You get
Water-
so
fucking
water
insane.
retention.
so
Aye.
caught up in it. So like we'll wrap up on the last thing here. So next chapter of your life is going to be interesting to see you go through that, go through your own bodybuilding experience and all that sort of stuff. Where does your head lie on the performance enhancement stuff then?
Are you going to do it naturally?
I don't want to do a natural show, no. No. But like contrary to popular belief, I've never took a steroid in my life, right? I wasn't
sure. We've also spoken about this before.
I see the thing is, again, everybody I look up to in the industry, the bodybuilding industry, is fucking enhanced, right? You can't be a pro bodybuilder unless you're natural, like in a natural federation. You're not going to be at the pinnacle of the game without PEDs. I don't care. If somebody does PEDs, it's up to them. Again, it's all personal decision. That's kind of what it comes down to. But probably have to go down that route. Yeah, I've still got that hormone issue that I was telling you about, though, that I need to fix that. So I'm not getting a loaded gun. I've got high prolactin that's stupid high.
Right.
But the NHS are doing nothing, so I'm going to need to go private and get that sorted.
Aye.
But PEDs I probably need to go in.
Will you go down steroids route, or would you go down peptides? Have you ever messed about with peptides or anything like that?
Growth hormone and stuff. Or you
I
SARMs.
forget growth. SARMs, sorry.
Mhm.
Aye. See, there's me getting things mixed up. Go away for it. For a couple
Peptides are the
months.
new big king, though.
Peptides and SARMs and that sort of
Bit
stuff.
risky.
SARMs are bullshit, man. There's no human studies on
But I
SARMs
think-
that's long term.
I think that's the scary thing about it. I'd actually need to go back to a conversation I had with somebody yesterday, because I said peptides, it was grey market, it's SARMs. It's a grey market, I've got that wrong.
Yeah.
So peptides, have you had any of that? You're in touch with that?
Growth hormone I took for a guy I used to work with, the NHS, told me about it. I tore my pec. I've told you that both. Tore my pec really fucking badly, man. Tried to chase a 200 kilogram bench press. Honestly, that's one.
Casual,
Just
mate.
a 200?
Aye.
Just 200,
Fucking
mate.
so weak.
I
mate.
never go there. I get 192.5, and that will haunt me forever because I'm never going back. Never doing
Round
it
it up,
again.
mate. Round it
Aye, 200, same thing, innit?
up. It's basically 3.
Aye.
Would you be worried
Stop
to go
it.
back, yeah?
I'm
You
no-
don't
I'm
flat bench anymore, don't you? Not?
periodically, but no
Is that
as a
becau-
primary. No
Is
as
that
a
because
primary.
of that?
Yeah.
Is that because of that?
Aye, and the narrative in the bodybuilding space is once you kind of build your strength on that big compound, it's kind of quite dangerous to keep chasing that high reps and keep progressing that if your strength keeps going up. I
Aye,
prefer
right.
an incline.
Right.
To be honest, prefer an incline. See, most pec tears, flat bench,
Ross tore his
Aye.
pec, flat benching,
flat bench.
NJD.
Yep, flat bench.
100 kilo he had on or something like
Swear to
that.
God, see if you get like
140.
I use his warm up as well.
That's it.
see if you get 50 cases of pec tears, 48 of them will be flat bench press.
So, what's your take on this? Because I'll I've never had a pec tear or whatever. Never dealt with anyone with a pec tear. But I go as far as say is usually happens with the warm up component, the mobilising joint, getting everything fired up and ready to go. What was your training like before that, or did you feel you were ready?
It
Or
wasn't that for me. What it was for me is because I was chasing that goal. My programming was incorrect.
Right.
Due to that,
Too much.
I was doing push pull legs, basically, and it was
high volume.
It was fucking 3 strong as fuck on pressing, right? But my body just couldn't. I thought I was fine. That way you're like, don't be a fucking pussy, just get it done, right? But I was pressing like 3 presses on the first push and 3 presses in the second push, 2 shoulder and 1 chest on that one, and 2 chest and
Aye.
It's just too much, man.
So
Too
volume
much fucking
overload.
pressure.
Aye.
Because even with like a shoulder press, I don't go like totally straight up. I'm slightly back.
You're like
So my
high
upper
incline.
so it was right there. So my upper pec was engaged for fucking say
Everything.
14 heavy ass motherfucking sets a week, right? So I done it. It was, what gym was that called again? Hostile. Right? It was fucking freezing cold in the morning. December. Baltic. Right? So I go into like, I was warm as fuck. I made sure I warmed up because I felt a wee bit banged up. I felt like wee twinges, but it was fine. I think I'd done like 170 for 3 or 4, and I thought, nah, I'll drop it to 140 and just bang out like 10 or something a day. I'm no feeling going really fucking hard. Done my third rep at 140, just fucking ripped in half, and there was nobody around about me, so I was wrapped up in my Cobra grips. So the Cobra grips, Dale's like,
Get it up, you.
don't
Wrist
you fucking,
fucking told you.
So I wrapped up in my Cobra grips, belt on, attached to the bar. The only other guy was doing sandbags up the other fucking
So
side
you
of the
couldn't
gym.
even see you.
I had my earphones on. It was fucking equipment there. Brutal. So I had to rip it further to put it up to rack it. Like I had to actual rip, like I felt it rip there, and I had to just rip it and rack it, and it was fucking, mate, it was as if somebody electrocuted me. I had to go and say to the guy, can you get this belt off for me, mate, because I couldn't feel my...
Start seizing up.
Everything just went numb.
Did you get anything for the biceps?
I don't bruise, man.
No?
It's so weird. Like, my body doesn't bruise. Like, I tore my hamstring in 3 places.
To me, that is so fascinating that happens. I thought it was just like, because seeing Ross sent me a picture, and he tore his pec, but the bruising came like down his bicep. It was insane. Like,
any spectators you see folk like, you fucking bruise like mad, like any tear. My body's weird as fuck. I tore my hamstring in 3 places playing football, and I went to casualty because I felt it rip, and I could feel the blood inside my hamstring. Like my leg felt soaking. It was disgusting.
it's minging.
And the wee daft nurse that seen me that day sent me away because there was no bruising. I'm like, I don't fucking bruise.
Like it's definitely gone.
It's torn. She's like, no, Voltarol gel. See you later. I do. Fucking honestly.
Then you realise that
I don't give a
second
fuck.
opinion sign.
She couldn't have cared less, mate. It was brilliant.
How was your mental health after that though? Because obviously training's the biggest thing. That was going to be your peak of your training.
Felt like I was
Lost.
So Dale tells me a story in Wishy Sports Centre. Then you used to go. People used to just sit and watch you bench and just come down and say, all right, if I watch you bench and that. So your identity at that time's like the strong guy that can push. And then just can fucking take away. So that must have been quite challenging.
But that was recent, that picture. That was only about, what, 2 and 3 years ago?
Right.
So,
Did you step away for that at that point at least?
Back then, fuck knows I didn't rip a tip back then because I was benching like 3 or 4 times a week because I was the heavy guy, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait there, folk are wanting to see me do a fitness thing here.
You'll love
right?
it.
So I'm like, oh, absolutely, like soaking in that gratification.
Aye.
And I was benching, I think I was benching like 180 even back then.
It's like the attention though, isn't it?
Aye.
It's nice.
When I
It
was young.
rolls you on, didn't it?
When I was 18, 19, I was fucking loving it. Like, I won't lie, like I was. I'm like, yes. All these fucking big guys in here are wanting to sit and watch me.
That's
it. I'm like, they'll give us
Watch me, watch this, watch this.
But you grow out of that, don't you? Like the 1 rep max fucking shit I used to do is just wild. Like you want to get back and just strangle him, don't you? That young boy.
Actually, the first time hearing James speaking about strength training and that side of things, that changed my mind because I was finding myself getting back in it just because I was in a gym environment. Fucking deal with it all. People's like, well, do you think you can bench a day? Let's find out. What am I doing? I'm a fucking 28 years old PT here. I need to chill out because that stuff has a shelf life.
It's fun, but
it is fun.
But it's just so suboptimal.
But you see all the wee guys in the gym.
For weeks and weeks and weeks, you're knackered. You can't push
the
same or you can't press the same on
you
any.
do a true 1 rep max, man, like that.
You're gassed.
Fucks you.
You're gassed.
You're fucked. You know what I mean?
So it'll be interesting to see you go through this journey anyway with the next chapter, man. And definitely will be dead exciting. And I think you'll do a great job. I think you've got
Appreciate it, mate.
like for the shape and size that you are. Yes, everybody's going to have lagging body parts, but I definitely think you might not recognise insecurities, but I think you're always going to be your hardest critique.
Oh, aye, of course.
And you just need to push through and go, fuck it, regardless. Say, like, I know you don't want to stay on stage till you go, I'm going to win this shit, because we all go in with the mindset of, like, winning. Even if we tell ourselves it's experience, deep down, it goes back to the guys in Wishy Sports Centre going, fucking go. And you're like, I'm going to get a wee bit of that attention again. So it'll be interesting to see you go through that. Have you set Sarah's expectations for, like, you're
going to say Jag Mars.
No, not even that. Just
that conversation's been had.
Jillian's not had to do that for me, thankfully.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, man. I was like,
Really?
fuck it. No, I hate it. I hate needles. I do hate needles, but I still jab a wee bit of TRT. When I say a wee bit of TRT every 5 days. But
you needed it though. Like, you genuinely needed it.
I've not had my blood work done since that time we spoke in there. I need to get that done, because when you're saying that's a year, it's like, so that'll be, when did it was like one of the first couple of episodes we done.
Was
I was about October, November time I got my bloods done. And I was like, fuck, my test is low.
That's that. And you were still fucking like retaining muscle, and you were in good shape, but your energy levels were.
I was running on highs because I was doing a job I love. That kept me going.
Yeah.
100%.
And we'd just been married, so life was high. I was pulling in. I was financially at a point where I was like, I'm getting paid for doing what I love, and I think that just kept me on this natural high. But when it comes to bodybuilding, there's a lot of sacrifice that needs to be made, and that I can't imagine how I would have coped actually trying to help other people, but I don't know if that would have been better or worse. It'll be interesting to see how you go into that
prep stage.
because there's a lot of sacrifice. You need to be so selfish.
I'll
be fat and happy, man. It's fucking massive. I'll need to buy new fucking clothes, but when it comes to prep time, I'll need to assess it. I will never give my clients a suboptimal service. Like, I'm very
that takes
self-aware.
priority.
Like, that won't ever happen. If I feel like that's going to be the case, I don't know. I'll need to figure it out. Reduce hours or reduce completely, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks out. I'll need to assess. I won't know till the time.
Yeah, no, you'll just be learning that, but that makes you a better coach in that situation.
Of course.
So a lot of it like how you and Sarah's also been together, and obviously Sarah's in the same field. Does that probably ground you quite a lot? Do you just bounce off each other, or do you find each other, you butt heads a lot of stuff?
No. Sarah, we were talking about client wins earlier. I was thinking about this the other day. Pure like mushy and emotional, right? But she might be my best client win ever. Like, she had the mental health aspect of being unhappy with her body, the gym anxiety where she would only walk on a treadmill, not even at a fast pace, because she thought folk were watching her in case she fell. I'm like,
she's walking funny. Like that.
I know.
It's mad the amount of stuff
it's
goes
crazy,
through your mind.
But you believe it, but
I know.
If you tell yourself, fuck man, folk are going to be watching me, I'm out of shape, they're going to, why manage it? You believe that shit. You're listening, like your brain is listening to that.
Aye, it does.
But I took her for that, started coaching her, like, she was hard to start, like difficult clients, right? Like, she was that big time.
She's probably listening going, try living with him, though, that's
do you know what? She'd be fucking absolutely right as well. But no, I don't know a better female coach in Scotland that I've seen. I've never seen, do you know what I mean? She's came from there all the way to actually coaching other people and getting crazy fucking transformations and taking people through their own journey. Just to watch that,
that's quite incredible. That's what I mean. The power of influencing one person can be the influence of like multiple others, and that's really.
So basically, what you're saying is all our client wins are really mine.
Well, you can take credit, mate. You can take credit.
She's got to fucking stab you.
I'm not getting him. I'm staying here now.
No, but that's quite good to see. How's that been for your relationship? And that side of things, great.
Do you know the thing is, mate? We live together. We opened the fucking gym together. We train together at Gym 24. No shite at all. It's amazing. Good. I think when it comes to, obviously you clash with your partner at certain times, right? But because I have been her coach all the way through that, and then coaching her through her PT and stuff, there's never really been a clash with that. There never will be. There never will be. She's got her own sort of style now, right enough. But that's good. I want that to happen. I mean, like, you need to find your own. You need to fully believe in what you do. And there's multiple roads that lead to the same end goal. Just
look at the three of us sitting on this table. We could debate till fucking the sun comes up, and one of us might be right, but it's not our choice to make. It just means like, and that's why I love like actually having this forum, why I always wanted to do a podcast, to hear two sides of a story or three different opinions and go, I'm going to try all three and see what works for me. And cool, you go for it. But just like your shape with your experiences, you with yours. But that must be quite cool to see that evolve and her coming on and go, actually see your rack pull, Jays, get them to fuck. They're quite shite. I can't wait for that day to happen.
Oh, it happened. It happened. I think
she deadlifted not too long ago as well, didn't she?
I should tried it. Again,
she not like it again?
Some movements mechanically only for certain people.
Also, just the two of yous, but nobody else in the planet.
You little bitch. What the? See if you'd say anything about small bench or deadlift. You just fucking bites, don't you?
See when you're talking about, he's honestly built as a different breed, because you're talking about like people, like we know people will walk in that treadmill and they'll make eye contact with somebody and they'll go, oh fuck, he's looking at me in case I fall in this. James will look at the same person and be in the same scenario and he'll go, she fancies me. That's the mindset.
You know it quite well.
Like I said earlier, it's all interpretation.
It's absolutely all interpretation.
Exactly.
Man.
Well, look, it's been great having you on. We'll do a wee intro at the start. So, although your books are full, if anyone's listening to this and they're interested in bodybuilding, will I put something in for them to reach out?
You could do, mate.
Aye,
Just my Instagram is at Burns Fitness.
Aye, I'll get that done at the start. But pleasure having you, man.
No, thanks for having me, boys. Good to see you.